San Diego, no warm-up needed. If it matters in this city, you're hearing about it right here.
The Michael King contract, super creative. I think it's a great win for the Padres.
Real opinions, real takes, no wasted time.
It has been the little things that have outdone San Diego State, and that's where they got to improve.
Live and local on 97.3 The Fan. The Braden Surprenant Show starts now.
What's up, San Diego? Happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's good to be with all of you today on a Monday. Hopefully you guys had a great holiday weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your 4th of July holiday. I had a great time over the weekend. It was great to have Friday off. Hopefully you guys all were able to have Friday off and enjoy your time. I went to the fair on Thursday. That was great. Went to the speakeasy up there. The speakeasy at the fair was so cool, Frank, because it was the best seats in the house from the monster trucks.
There you go.
I stumbled across it.
There you go.
My friend, she wanted to go to the speakeasy. I was like, okay, cool. I'm down. I mean, going to the fair as an adult is a little bit different than going to the fair as a kid. When you go as an adult, you actually like to go to like the shopping exhibits and go see the garden stuff and like the wood and all that. And she's like, there's a speakeasy over here. Okay, cool. They gave you a little code word, which was awesome. You could tell the security guy was having a lot of fun with the code word, Frank. He was like so excited. I forgot what it was. I also don't want to let the cat out of the bag for next year, but you get a different one every time I said it. The guy was like, yeah, that's right. He was all fired up. We went up there, and it was a great little thing. It was like a 1920s like train theme, whatever. And I go to the bartender, and I'm about to get a drink, and the guy was like, "You here for monster trucks?" And I'm like, "What?"
I am now.
He was like, "Yeah, they start in like 15 minutes." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, a lot of people come up. They don't know about us. They come up here. They got great seats." And I'm like, "I guess we're staying for monster trucks." I watched some old guys race some tractors. They're like little go-karts, but they like had like a, you know what they were? They were like the John Deere lawnmower. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those
Yep.
like those, yeah.
The ride-on mowers?
Yeah, so they converted that into go-karts, and they were doing races. Oh man, I was locked in. They had a wreck second turn on the first lap.
That checks out.
Yeah, that checked out. Guys are, it was fun. I get to watch the monster trucks. Had a good time at the fair. Cashed in on my garlic fried artichoke hearts. Garlic battered artichoke hearts were good. We tried the Nashville hot mac and cheese balls. Those were amazing. I had to get cheesecake on a stick. You ever had cheesecake on a stick?
I have not, no.
They take the cheesecake on a stick and they dip it in chocolate, and then they put like sprinkles or nuts on top. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to have the nuts,
Yep.
so you dip it. That's amazing. And then a Biscoff cinnamon roll, because apparently cinnamon rolls at the fair are money. So that's what I did on Thursday. Friday, had a good off day, hanging around the house. It was a beautiful weekend all weekend. Had a great time at the parade on Saturday for the 4th of July. Did the fun walk. I'm going to say walk. I did not run at all. Had a good time with family on Saturday. I laid by the pool all weekend. It was great. Got a little R&R, if you will. But overall, had a great 4th of July weekend. Frank, how was your 4th of July weekend?
It was good. Went out and about a little bit. Kind of just drove around to just wherever my car took me. And other than that, was at home, sitting in the air conditioning, enjoying the World Cup for the most part this weekend. So, yeah, good weekend.
Would have been better if Italy was playing.
Why? Why do you hate me?
You know what?
Why do you hate me so
I
much?
like the Italians too, man. I mean, we're both Italian. Sometimes you got to hold your motherland country accountable.
Yeah,
They should be in it.
They should be.
You know what? You win the Euro, you think things are good, and then apparently they're not. Anyway, I had a great time over the weekend. We kept it simple with the food. A lot of the hot dogs. Did some hot dogs. Did some hot links. Did some other stuff too. So it was great. I had a great time over the weekend. Had a lot better time than probably the San Diego Padres did. I will say this, and I think we're at the point now where we talk about this, but I want to talk about this kind of where we're at in the season. They're 89 games in. And I look back at the Padres from last year and 2024 through 88 games, and a lot of the statistical categories are pretty similar, but the Padres this year are obviously worse at this point in the season they were the last couple of years. And I mean across the board, not only team statistically, offensively, or pitching wise, but also individually. It's just way worse. Some of the stats are a little bit close, but it's just, strikeout rate for the hitters right now through the roof compared to the last 2 years. Walk rate for the pitchers right now through the roof compared to the last 2 years. And so you're at a very interesting point of this season where it is a sliver of hope for this team to make the playoffs. I mean, I would say it's a sliver of hope right now, the way that they've been playing, that they can make the playoffs. In fact, I mean, you start running reports on this team, and it's just, and here's the thing. I don't give a rat's behind about playoff odds because it's the same thing as like expected percentage to win per game, which is obviously a joke. So from that perspective, I don't really care. I know it's very, very limited that the Padres have chance-wise to make the postseason, but it's very slim. And what's interesting about this week is, kind of the mindset of the team, the mindset of the front office, and the mindset of the fan base. And for right now, from a team perspective, let's start with the fan perspective, okay? Because the fan perspective is easy. We can emotionally ride with this team. We could get heated. We could get upset. We could, emotionally start saying we got to trade everybody away, which doesn't make any sense in terms of logic when you start breaking it down. And we will do that later on in the show about what that exactly would look like. But from a fan perspective, obviously, if you're a fan of the Padres, I don't know how you can say the performance that they have had up until this point being acceptable for what they've told us they're trying to do. Going into this season, regardless of what the roster looked like, and, I would say even before they hired Craig Stammen, where the Padres were at going into the season after they made the playoffs the last 2 years and have made the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, is I would say it was fair to say that the Padres have World Series aspirations going into this season, right? Would you agree with that? I don't think it would be crazy to say that would be the expectations for a Padres fan base that has seen their team now make the playoffs. You've seen them win in the playoffs after what was a disappointing showing in Chicago last October, going into the offseason with trying to find a new manager where everything was at. This team is a team where the next step was they need to get to the World Series. I think that's fair. So based on the talent this team has and based on what this team has done this year, it's safe to say, and I think a big reason why the fans are saying this, and it's true, they have failed expectations and their play is unacceptable. I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, it's unacceptable. Their level of play on this road trip was just flat out unacceptable for what they're trying to do. And that's not, picking at the Padres. That's not trying to crush the Padres when they're down. That's just if we're holding our standard to we're trying to win a World Series, last week is unacceptable to try to reach that performance. This season is unacceptable trying to reach that performance. That's just looking at like what it takes to win a World Series, what your level of play is. This season, flat out failure, unacceptable to this point. And I don't think anybody really disagrees with that. And that's why so many fans are upset, obviously, with the way that they've played. And you're going to start to see that a lot with probably some of their support. But from a fan perspective, looking at this team, they're doomed, right? Isn't that the kind of the narrative right now? They're doomed. We're doomed. No. Okay, I get that. I understand that. Now, from the front office perspective, okay, front office perspective, they can't just say, like, we're doomed, let's just blow everything up. I mean, you really can't do that. I mean, you have to view everything every single day. And here's the reality of sports and competition. No matter how things get bad, what you cannot do is do what I think a lot of young people do. People my age all the way down in this day and age of instant gratification, hitting the reset button and sitting there and go like, I quit. This isn't fun. I quit. I can't do this anymore. It's too stressful. I quit. And try to start over. You know, sometimes you can't do that all the time in life. You can't just say, I quit, hit the reset button. Like so many of us young people have done over and over again because we're allowed to do that. Sometimes you got to grind through the adversity. And what the front office has to do is they have to find ways to make this team a winner. Now, whether or not they can do that this season will remain to be seen. But Dennis Lin said it on the morning show. They're actively looking to try to improve the team because that's a winning mindset. Now, I think it gets to a point, too, before fans start going like, whatever. But it gets to a point, too, where it's going to get so bad that you can't just continue to go with the same thing over and over again. So they're going to have to figure out what they can do here in the next couple of weeks to make this team as good as they possibly can for what they currently have. Obviously, with injuries mixed in and all the excuses that everybody else has, too. But that's where the front office is. And now from the team perspective, what they cannot do is also emotionally start getting like us fans and just be like, I quit. At 89 games in the season, hit the reset button. Let's just get ready for next year. They're actively trying to figure out ways to fix this. And you can see it with some of their play. Sometimes they don't look like that. But you better believe that this team is trying to do that right now. And that's the mindset they have to have. I mean, from a fan perspective, yeah, we're sitting here thinking about like, let's punt, let's get to the future, let's try to make this thing so much better. Let's try to load up on the prospects and everything like that. But Frank, as I look at where we're at right now, the team is going to constantly try to find ways to fix this and get back on track. And that's what you would expect a good team to do. From a fan perspective, I can see why they're ready to hit the reset button and blow everything up and start over. Because after last week, that's nothing. That team that played last week, and I'm not counting yesterday, but that entire road trip, that was a team that is light years away from a World Series caliber team, which is what their expectation is going into the season when you go to the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, and it's unacceptable play.
No, 100%. You cannot give up the amount of runs you gave up against the Cubs. And then on Thursday night, when it looked like, okay, it really was a team bonding moment, they turned it around to blow a 6-0 lead in LA immediately after giving up 23 runs in a single game. Not good. That I think is a time where you can go, okay, nothing's going to wake this team up now. It was a very, very bad omen for the weekend right from the very beginning. And you salvage yesterday, but an 8-game losing streak going into the All-Star break. This All-Star break cannot come soon enough. It gives you very little hope for the back half of the season, for the second half of this season. And yeah, I don't blame fans for saying, you know what? Lost season. It's over. You're only a game under 500. There's still time. It's still possible. But if you do make it, I don't see how this team is anything but 2 losses and they're out.
Well,
the way that they're currently constructed.
Yeah, but they're not going to make it if they're the way they're currently constructed.
No, they're gonna have to back their way into the final spot.
No, they have to go get pieces, right? Like they're gonna have to put together a good week this week, and then reset. As I say, don't reset the entire team. They need to have a mental week off, which is good because the Padres have one All-Star, and it's Mason Miller. And guess what closers hardly ever do? Pitch in the All-Star game. So you got one All-Star, and everybody else could take a break. And then we'll see what they got for the I agree with Ben Higgins this morning. He was saying, like, if you have a bad week this week, there's no getting out of this. But because it's not like you could make up a ton of ground the week after the All-Star break going into the trade deadline. This is a very important week. Now, let's talk about the first couple of games against LA. I mean, you lose 23-3 against Chicago, and I thought this team's either going to beat someone's ass or roll over and die. And you know what? They actually did a little bit of both because they jumped out to a 6-0 lead. I'm like, this team came ready to fight until they didn't. And again, it was the little things. It was Jake Cronenworth with an error this week, right? It was Randy Vasquez giving it up on Thursday specifically. He went from 6-0 to down 12-6. That is unacceptable for a team that's trying to be a World Series caliber team, which is what they were at the beginning of the season. Obviously, right now, they don't look anything like that.
And not only that, on Thursday, you have that medical issue with Randy Vasquez, with him fainting. Now he's on the 15-day IL with an ankle injury, so there's another pitcher gone. So who's going to pitch the second game? Who's going to pitch tomorrow against Arizona is up in the air. And Freddie Fermin gets knocked out again. He avoids concussion protocol, but he's on with a head contusion after Freddie Freeman fouled the ball back into his face. And Xander Bogaerts, I think it was the one that was like, you good, dude? No, you ain't. Get out here. Someone get out here and replace this guy. So you lose two more guys. So the battery is once again further depleted. You lose a pitcher and a catcher.
But this weekend, I mean, they had a 6-0 lead on Thursday. They had a 3-0 lead on Friday. Saturday, they weren't really. I mean, Yamamoto kicked their ass on Saturday. They weren't really in it Saturday. And then they win yesterday. I thought yesterday's win was good. I like to see the fire to Craig Stammen in the first inning. The 3 pitches into the game, guy gets tossed with Goins, who was the infield coach. Good to see some fire. But, you know, we'll see what happens this week. Last night could be a game that sparks this week. It could be. I'm not saying it will be because it's hard to say. You've seen games like last night. You've seen them put together good games. They have yet to have that really turn into a handful of games. But this is the this is the season defining week right here for the Padres of whether or not things are going to work out or things are not going to work out. Now, when we talk about this team at the deadline, which I know people are tired of hearing about it, I just think they got a lot of issues that they have to deal with. And I think as you work through those problems, you start to figure out what they can and cannot do. And we're going to work through those problems when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Just getting started on a Monday. Santa Cruz Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 10:24 on a Monday. Padres have a lot of problems. We're trying to fix those problems here on the Braden Surprenant Show as best we can, trying to help out the ball club. All right, let's talk about some of this stuff. Okay? Let's talk about some of this stuff. People are saying, like, Padres season is over or whatever. I mean, like, it's over if you want to, like, have that mentality of just, like, quitting all the time. I mean, but nobody's stopping you from watching the team or not watching the team. It doesn't look very good. The odds are definitely stacked against them. And Dennis Lynn mentioned that. Now, let's talk about what has been kind of trending on social media, Frank, with this negativity of the team. And there's I'm going to tell you, there's not a lot of reason to be positive with what's going on right now.
There's really not.
But let's get to the scenario of, because everybody's so worried about AJ Preller buying at the deadline. You better sell. You better sell. You better sell. We had this conversation last week. What are you selling, and what do you think you're going to get? So, Dennis Lynn was on with Ben and Woods earlier this morning, and he brought up something I thought was interesting about Mason Miller. And here's, like, because you have to find players you could trade right now. So if you look at the Padres payroll, who could they sell? Like, when teams sell, Frank, who do they usually sell? They sell
They're big name stars that they know are not going to re-sign.
They sign impending free agents.
Yeah.
Right? That's who they sell. Sorry, not sign. They sell impending free agents, right? So on this team, Ramon Laureano, Walker Buehler, Ty France, Lucas Giolito, Griffin Canning, Herman Marquez, Kyle Hart, Jason Adam, Adrian Morejon. Those are all of your impending free agents. Okay? Now, some of those guys, of course, are hurt. Like, you're not going to be able to trade Ramon Laureano. He's not going to play this year, most likely. Jason Adams, now banged up. He's going to miss a significant amount of time with a shoulder injury. Probably not somebody you could trade away. So that leaves you with a handful of guys. Miguel Andujar, another guy. Okay? You could probably trade Miguel Andujar. You could probably trade him. You could probably trade Ty France. You might be able to trade Walker Buehler. Maybe, because he's cheap and he's done fairly well. But out of all those players, Adrian Morejon you could probably trade. Out of all those players, none of them are going to give you a top 10 prospect. Like, at all. You're not going to get a top 10 prospect for any of those guys.
Not according to Jim Bowden about an hour ago.
What did Jim Bowden think they were going to get?
I have this sound here. This is from MLB Network Radio, if you want to hear this.
Yeah, sure.
Steve Phillips on the leadoff spot.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the idea or the concept of the Padres considering trading Mason Miller. And, my initial blush was like, what? No, that's the best part of the team. No, you can't. And then the more I thought about it and the more I kind of dug into their farm system and their roster, that would be an AJ Preller type of move. If you could turn Mason Miller into 3 or 4 pieces for long term, because I think they have that many needs. And so if you took a World Series contending type team like the Yankees, who I think desperately need another back-end impact guy, who I thought was going to be Carlos Legrand, but because of a capsular shoulder injury, it's not going to be him now. Can you get 3 or 4 pieces from them? Can you get a starting pitcher, an outfielder, a reliever? I mean, they're loaded, right? I mean, you could get a Lombard from them. You could get a Dominguez or Spencer Jones if you like them well enough. You could get one of their major league starting pitchers that could go right in your rotation. I mean, there is an avenue there. And so after I was digesting, because my initial reaction was, no, Steve, you're crazy. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, it might make sense when you look at, Duke, the number of holes that this team has.
Well, the problem with that, Jim, is you would have even more holes if you traded Mason Miller, because who's pitching for you next year? I'll get to that in a second. Dennis Lynn was on with the morning show, and he talked about Mason Miller, and he made it sound like unless they completely tank even more in the standings, it doesn't really sound like the Padres are interested in trading Mason Miller. So you start off with, again, as I mentioned before, impending free agents. Those are players that you could potentially sell. So you could sell a Morejon. You could sell maybe you can get a Miguel Andujar to go somewhere, or Ty France, right? Like, those are players that you could potentially sell at the deadline. None of those guys are going to get you a top prospect. They'll get you a couple guys in the farm system, like it'll make your farm system a little bit better, and you like hope that they turn out to be good players, but they're not helping you really get to that. You'd be selling just to sell. Other players that you trade are guys that, maybe under a couple of years control, but they're playing better than their value, right? Dennis Lin brought up Wandy Peralta. Maybe you trade Wandy Peralta at the deadline. Again, Ty France was listed as that too. I mean, he's playing above his value right now. Those guys might be traded away. But you're still not going to get like a Wandy Peralta to get you anything really big in return. He did throw out the idea that, with the market as it is right now, you might see two teams that are buying against, two buyers trading pieces, like the Padres trading Wandy Peralta for a bat because the team that needs an bullpen arm has extra bats. But again, when talking about selling, you're trying to find the avenues. We're going to get to Mason Miller in a second. You're not going to be able to trade guys like Manny and Xander, and you're not going to trade guys like Fernando or Jackson Merrill. Sure, you could waive, maybe they could probably get some guys that waive their no trade clause. But the other thing too, Frank, is you're going to have to eat money. And so if you end up trading those guys away because, you have, people on social media, they got to do whatever it takes to trade away Xander Bogaerts. Well, guess what? You're still going to probably pay for like 70% of his contract, maybe 50 or 60% of his contract, unless you throw prospects in to just get rid of it. So next year, if you decided to do that, you would still be paying a very high payroll. It would just be for a lot of AAA players, because who knows how much money you would have for free agency. Your team will be like arguably the worst roster in baseball because you're going to be paying for stars to play against you, or, high profile guys before people start saying he's not a star, whatever. I don't want to get into the semantics of it, but you could be paying a high payroll for these guys to play against you. And then who's going to be on your team? It's not like you're freeing up all their payroll. It's not like $25 million a year are coming off the books. You're still paying that guy. And you're going to pay him a lot to not be on your team. You're not going to be able to replenish. You're not going to make these things happen. Let's get to Mason Miller. Dennis Lin said on the morning show, he'd be very surprised if Mason Miller was not on the Padres after the trade deadline. Here's the other part of this. Adams a free agent at the end of the year. He got $6.675 million this year. He's 35 years old. He's injured again. I highly doubt Jason Adams coming back next year.
No, and the way he made it, the reports sounds like he may not be sure if he's coming back this year.
Right. So, I mean, but I'm just telling you, like, they're not going to give him a contract.
No.
Okay. We've seen the debate about Adrian Morejon. He's 27 years old. Okay. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Dennis Lin said at the beginning of the season, it doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, okay, to bring him back for either side. And if that's the case, he's not going to be here. He's going to need, he's going to get paid close to a closer salary as a bullpen arm for what he's done. Somebody's going to give him that. So he's not coming back next year, probably. So if you decide to trade Mason Miller, I mean, who's in your bullpen? I guess you'll figure it out. I mean, who's in your bullpen? Your entire bullpen's gone at that point for next year. Then you talk about the starting staff. Walker Buehler, free agent at the end of the year. He's pitched better than $1.5 million. He's probably not coming back next year. And I don't necessarily know if I'm the Padres, I want to bring him back next year. Nick Pivetta has a player option that turns into a club option, and we have the sound on that. We'll get to that later. He can opt out after 2026 or 2027 based on where his arm's at. There's no guarantee he's coming back next year. Michael King, he can opt out. I mean, you already don't have starting pitching. Who knows what you're getting out of you, Darvish? Joe Musgrove's got another year of control. I mean, you haven't seen him in 2 years. Who's pitching for you? I just like, as much as people want to just blow everything up, do you understand how long it's going to take to get these guys or get this team back to what you think it's going to be? There's no quick reset. When you sign these contracts, you were committed to these players. And when we come back, I'll explain more. But as you look at this team, and as we do this exercise, and we'll get your opinion on the other side, Frank, they don't really have a clear-cut solution at the trade deadline. The more you think it out, and the more you start understanding the consequences of what your actions are going to be, they're stuck. And we'll talk about it when we return. $10:41 on a Monday. It's Padres. I told you, man. It's just it's not. There's not an easy reset button with this team. You can't just pull the plug on everything every time things hit the fan. It's just you can't do it. You could sit there and make up like, oh, we're going to get all these great players if we trade this guy. There's no guarantee. The Nationals got 2 out of the Padres trade for Juan Soto. And the first couple of years looked kind of bleak. They've turned it around. They got 2 good players in C.J. Abrams and James Wood. Robert Hassel III got his ass cut over the weekend. Mackenzie Gore is like a 4 or 5 starter in Major League Baseball right now. He's not even on there. He's not even part of the organization. 2 of the 5 players are not even with that team anymore. Hey, you know what? If the Red Sox trade Mookie Betts to the Dodgers, they could get back a whole haul that's going to make them so much better. Right, Frank? Right? Wait a minute. You know what? If the Seattle Mariners trade Edwin Diaz, they could get Jared Kelenic. He's a can't-miss prospect. Number 4 in all of baseball. Wow, he's so good. Got DFA'd twice this year. Never amounted to anything. It's the risk you take. So you have the option of going with the old guys. At least you know what you're going to get out of those players. Or you could just roll the dice. Let's hope for the best. Maybe we'll get a James Wood. Or maybe we'll get Tommy Medica. I mean, you had 5 players get sent to Washington. 2 are really good. 2 of them are gone. And one of them, Frank disrespected a couple months ago. Remember? Arlene Susana? Forgot about that guy. He's not even in the big leagues yet. Hasn't thrown 1 pitch for the big leagues yet. So 3 out of the 5 players have done nothing for the Nationals. They hit on 2. Hey, you know what? They got those 2. But here's the other thing, too, about the Mason Miller situation. This is what people need to understand. Okay? I thought Tony did a great job talking about this a couple of weeks ago on the roundtable about A.J. Preller. He said the biggest difference between him and everybody else is he takes the chance and he lays it on the line and he actually pulls the trigger on these deals. He's willing to trade top prospects. You know who's not? You know what organizations are not? Every other organization. They don't trade their best prospect. Nobody ever does. That's why they don't make the big splash that AJ does. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. You could decide whether or not you think it's right to trade your best prospect or not. That's not the talking point of this discussion. The talking point is I have Mason Miller, and Dennis Lynn brought this up today on Ben and Woods. I have Mason Miller, and if you think about trading him, everybody goes, yeah, we could get a top prospect in baseball. We can get this big haul. You can only get what some team is willing to trade. And most teams are not like AJ Preller. They don't operate. The GMs don't operate like he does, which means they don't want to give up their top prospect. So even though the Athletics were able to get Leo DeVries for Mason Miller, doesn't mean other teams that are looking to buy are willing to do that. So it's fun to just be like, hey, let's just throw Mason Miller out there. Now, if they were to trade Mason Miller and you got like let's talk about the Yankees, because everybody talks about the Yankees. The Yankees always, it's always the Yankees and Mason Miller. And you got George Lombard Jr., and you got Elmer Rodriguez, and you got Carlos LaGrange, and you got Spencer Jones, and they threw in Kyle Carr, and you got 5 of their top 11 prospects. Be like, yeah, cool, sounds great. I mean, when you look at the deal that the Padres gave the Nationals, what was that, 2022? In terms of their top prospects, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2022. C.J. Abrams was number 1. Robert Hassel was number 2. Mackenzie Gore was number 4. James Wood was number 5. Arlene Susana was number 19. You gave up 4 of your top 5 prospects. You kept Campusano. Your other top prospect was Jackson Merrill. He was number 6. So you ended up keeping 2 of your top 10. Eggy Rosario didn't amount to anything. He's not on any team right now. Reese Kinnear's been mediocre. He's back with Milwaukee. Robert Gasser is still in Milwaukee. They're part of the, he was part of the Josh Hader deal. Joshua Mears is still in Double-A. He was a top 10 prospect. But out of that group, Robert Hassel III was the number 2 prospect. He was a first-round draft pick. He got cut this weekend. So even if you go to the Yankees, you start, let's just say you get those prospects, you get that kind of level. I don't think you are going to, because he doesn't play every day, Mason Miller. He's not an everyday player like Juan Soto is. But if you got 5 players close to that, and I'll pull up the Yankees' top prospects again. You get a George Lombard Jr. and Elmer Rodriguez, who's a right-handed pitcher. They're both AAA guys that are young, okay? And you get Spencer Jones. So that's, 3 of the top 10. And then they throw in Kyle Carr as the 11th best prospect. I think that's a, pretty fair trade. And I know Kyle Carr played at USD. And then he went to Palomar. Kyle Carr's a stud. I watched him play it. The guy's a freak. He's the 11th best prospect for the Yankees. He's a pitcher. He was a 2A guy in college. I mean, he's also in AAA. They're all AAA guys that you could potentially get. There's no guarantee that they all hit. If you're lucky, you get 2. So you get 2 players that are solid major leaguers. But the thing with the Mason Miller situation is it takes 2 to tango, and if nobody's willing to give up their top prospect for him, it doesn't matter. And the only one that's really willing to do this, and this is what Dennis Lind said on the morning show today, is AJ Preller. There aren't any other AJ Prellers out there that are doing this stuff. Let's talk about what somebody in the YouTube chat discussed with the whole long-term contract thing, okay? Here's where you run into an endless cycle with this. Look, the long-term contracts are never good because eventually you're going to have to pay for bad years. I think what scares a lot of people is the bad years have started way earlier than you thought. But the reality is when you make these deals, you signed up for this because this is what it takes to get those players in free agency. That's why free agency is not the best. But where the Padres were at the time that they signed a lot of these guys and they were looking for studs to reshape this organization, this is what you signed up for. Now, the catastrophic mistake for the Padres were extending Manny Machado and then signing a guy like Xander Bogaerts they didn't need. But in order to sign those players, which the Padres obviously wanted to do, they were signing these guys for the remainder of their career. Okay? Because Manny Machado became a free agent in 2019, whatever it was, 2018, going into the 2019 season. That guy, in order to get him, he was never signing another contract ever again. He was going to want a lifetime deal. And so what you do is you have the conversation with the agent. How much money is it going to take to buy the remainder of Manny Machado's career? The number was 300. If you do it over 8 years, fine, great. You're going to have to pay a lot more money every single year. Or you could spread it out over 10 years. Because at that point, you're buying out his career. That's the amount of money it's going to take to get him on your team. The amount of years is meaningless. It's just spreading it out so you have more money to work with each and every year. It's almost like deferring the contract. It's not like the Padres wanted Manny Machado to his age 42 season. Nobody in baseball wants an athlete through their age 40 plus seasons. Nobody does. But they do it to try to even out the money. Same thing with Xander. Hey, Xander, how much money is it going? Hey, Xander's agent, how much money is it going to take to buy the remainder of Xander Bogaerts' career? Because that's what he wants to sign. Oh, it's going to cost you $280 million. If I give it up for 8 years compared to 11, does it really matter those extra 3 years? No, this is what you signed up for when you sign these guys. The other way you could do things is you could get guys young, right? Like a Jackson Merrill. Well, you signed up for this too. Jackson Merrill got out to a great start to his rookie season, right? Can't let this guy walk. Can't let this guy walk. Well, this is what it takes to keep a guy like him. And if he doesn't play well, now you're giving a lot of money to a guy that's not playing well. This is how it works. Or you do what Atlanta does. Or some of these other teams like Milwaukee and Tampa, and you let them play when they're young, and then they're like 26, 27, and they leave for free agency, and you let them walk. I mean, you're never going to have the perfect scenario, Frank. Every single roster decision comes with consequences. And what you can't do, because you'll never be good if you do this, you can't hit the reset button every single time things don't go according to plan.
Oh, exactly. I mean,
it just sets you back further.
Yeah, it's really odd how you can get so just wrapped up in what you want and how quickly you think you can get it done versus the reality of the situation. I don't see a world where a team pays the price that the Padres would be willing to take for Mason Miller. I don't see it because I don't see a team desperate enough and in a position to win that has the prospect capital. Because if you're a team that's consistently fighting for a championship, odds are your prospects aren't all that great because you don't necessarily need them. You're not drafting high. There are guys, and you're giving them away for players to compete. I don't see a world where Mason Miller's price tag would be matched by any other team other than the Padres and what they did last year.
But even then, last year, that was a farm system that also wasn't good.
Yeah.
Right? That was a farm system that wasn't good. I mean, we talk about Leo DeVries ad nauseum. And I'm not going to sit here and say the guy's going to be a Jared Kelenic, but he could. Like, we don't know how good he's going to be at the major league. You have no idea. What happens, Frank, if Leo DeVries gets to the big leagues and is just a turd? Not like as a person, but he just sucks. Then what happens? All of a sudden you reevaluate the trade a little bit. Like, well, maybe it was a good trade. Who knows? At this point, we're going to take your phone calls when we come back. So Rick, Kevin, stay on hold. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. At this point, the Padres are not in a position to trade Ethan Salas. They're not in the position to trade Cruz Schoolcraft. They're not in the position to trade Cash Mayfield. They're not in a position to trade prospects that they believe in. And again, I say this every trade deadline. The farm system and the rankings that reporters do are not what everybody's organization ranks the Padres farm system as. Everybody has their own rankings for players around Major League Baseball that they find value in. So just because it's ranked a certain spot on MLB.com doesn't mean it's like that. I mean, the Padres could value guys in these other organizations way higher than they do. And that's when trades kind of happen. But the reality is, this Padres team, I think, one, as we heard from Dennis Lin this morning, he was talking about they're actively trying to improve this roster, which I think they're going to do. I don't think they're going to be in a position to trade their prospects away. I think it's going to be a strength from a MLB standpoint, and you got two buyers potentially making a deal. But I'll tell you one thing: if you decide to do what social media wants to do and sell, I don't know who's showing up to spring training next year. You don't really have a lot of options. 11 o'clock hour when we come back. Hour number 2 of the Braden Surprenant Show, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sent out the T-shirts over the weekend. Our guy Trav Gundy in the YouTube chat got himself a Braden Surprenant Show shirt. David Vu got himself one. Sent those out over the weekend. It took me a little bit of time because I had issues with my printer. It's dumb that if I don't use the tricolor ink after a couple of days, it just or really at all, because I was just printing in black and white, it starts to just solidify, and then you can't use it, and then you can't print just black and white. So you have to buy a new thing of ink, which I will now be printing stuff, and I'll now just be printing stuff all the time, just so I don't have to constantly buy ink that's full to print things out. That took me an extra little bit of time to get those shirts out, but I got them out. If you haven't done so already, in our link below in the YouTube description, you can check out our Shopify. If you're driving around, you want to support the Braden Surprenant Show, we got some cool shirts for you out there that you can add to the cart. There's some, if you're watching on the Braden Surprenant Show page, we have some cycling through on the YouTube page on there. You can click the link. It will bring you to our Shopify. You can check out the 4 different shirts that we have available. Again, super easy to do. Once you put the order in, I get notified. I send it to you pretty quickly. Happens pretty fast. So we appreciate you guys helping and supporting the show. Again, super easy to do, but go ahead and help us out with that. Again, it's a link in the bio. On the description page, if you're driving around, you can just Google search Braden Surprenant Show merch. It will pop up. If you go to our YouTube page at @B_SURP, there's a shopping tab on there as well. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube page. It's super easy. That's free to do. If you want to be a member, you get a deal on a shirt as well. You can sign up to be a member at youtube.com/@B_SURP. We appreciate you guys helping us out. Hit the like button if you can. Gets our numbers out there. Again, we really appreciate it. We're going to get to your phone calls here in just a second. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. Later on in the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to be giving away tickets to opening day at the Del Mar Racetrack. Fair is gone. Races starting to show up. So we'll talk about that in a second. All right. A couple of the comments from YouTube in our YouTube chat about, this team. Again, Frank, we have mentioned this multiple times. I'm not saying don't trade Mason Miller because I love him on the team and his entrance is fun and everything. My thing is, I don't think you're going to get what you think you're going to get in a trade for Mason Miller. It's better to just have him on the team. And who's going to be in your bullpen next year when you have expiring contracts for a lot of your back end guys?
I would agree with that 100%.
That's where we're at with it. This is what I have to say, because we forget about this. This is not the 2015 Padres. I forget, what year was Justin Upton on the team? Was that 2015, 2016?
I think so, yeah. I believe it was AJ Preller's first offseason.
Where they brought him in.
Yeah, where they brought everyone in. When they brought in Kemp, when they brought in all those guys.
Right. Justin Upton, I think, was on a 1-year deal. He was an all-star that year. Justin Upton was available at the trade deadline potentially, and the Padres were kind of hanging around a playoff spot at that time. Yeah, it was the one season he was here in 2015. And they didn't trade him. I mean, if they didn't trade Justin Upton in 2015 when they had nothing, and he had a 4.1 WAR, and he was an all-star, and that year he had 26 home runs. They didn't trade him. I don't see how they're going to trade a lot of these guys. As you're in your win now. I know everybody says the window's closed and all that. Let's give up. Let's quit. We're a bunch of quitters now, apparently, here in San Diego. But let's hit the reset button. You can't really do that when you sign on to have these kind of long-term deals. It's facts.
No, you can't.
You can't. This is what you committed to doing. If you were out there and you called into shows and you were verbally upset about the Padres signing Manny Machado in 2019, and you're verbally upset about them signing Xander Bogaerts and giving Fernando a contract extension, and you were upset about Merrill getting a contract extension, go ahead. You can bitch as much as you want. You told us so. But if you're like all in on all those guys, and now all of a sudden after a couple of years in, you happen to have a down year out of a lot of these guys, you can't just all of a sudden flip your opinion. Like, oh, we got to trade everybody away. You're a windsock. Stop being a windsock. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Rick in Lakeside. Rick, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on?
Yeah, good morning, Braden and Frank. Things are getting pretty bad. Even a lot of my kids stopped watching. They just can't stand it anymore. My wife has an interesting viewpoint on why the Padres are playing so bad. She says that ever since they adopted their Connect uniform, the Dia de la Muerta, they've been playing like a dead team.
Well, I don't know if it's the City Connects, if you will, Rick, and I appreciate the phone call, but they've been rough. I mean, hey, you know what, Frank? We're also not saying like this is great, everything's great.
No,
this team
it certainly is not.
Has played at an unacceptable level for what they want to be.
First time they've been below 500 since April 5th. After that awful start to the season.
Awful start to the season. I mean, you could look at some of the previous years, right? Like 2024, 2025. 2024, they were as much as 4 games under 500. But in 2024, their longest losing streak was 5 games, not 8. The most runs that they allowed in 2024 in a game, 11. They've allowed 23 in a game this year. The most runs they scored in 2024 was 15. They were 46 and 42 through their first 88 games. In 2025, they never were under 500. In fact, they had were up to 18 games over 500. They scored 21 runs as the most they scored in a game. They allowed 14 runs in a game. Longest winning streak was 7 games. Longest losing streak was 6 games. This year's team through 88 games, 43 and 45. Longest win streak has been 8. Longest losing streak's been 8. Basically wipe those out. Call it net neutral. The most runs scored the Padres have had this season is only 10, which is unfortunate. They've been as high as 11 games over 500, and they've been as low as 3 games under 500 this year. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. It's got Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, what's going on?
Hello, boys. Well, I hope you all had a great weekend. And sorry about the last phone call. You caught me right when I was going into the car wash. That's why it sounded like a cement mixer on the phone there. Apologize for that.
It's all good. You know what, Kevin? After the conversation we had about you watching every pitch of the 23-3 loss or whatever it was, I thought, you know what? He's picking up the hobbies. He's got he's mixing concrete. He's improving the backyard. And you know what? I was proud of you, Kevin. I was like, you know what? He's moving on a little bit, but you know what? Just get in the car wash. It's fine.
Look, clean car is a happy car. So that's what everybody's got. That's the word for the day. And remember, you can't just punt on Manny Machado's prime seasons here. So keep the Braden Surprenant axiom going here. So look, you had a nice long hour to explain your positions, and I agree with most of them. I only got about a minute or so. I understand that, so I'll try to be as complete as possible. To go back to the signings in which you claim, and I think rightfully so, a lot of these guys wouldn't have come here without the long-term incentive. However, the second part of that equation was, as Peter Seidler pointed out many times, the point of those signings was to be the team of the 20s, meaning World Series, meaning show up at the World Series, meaning dominate the division. That's what I got out of that. So that part of it has been a miserable failure, because the long list that you can go through of all of these players, from the position guys through the pitchers that we've lost, the entire group collectively, that's the key word, collectively, has not delivered on any part of this. And so the question is, well, now what do you do? And you got either keep them and hope for the best going through the recycle bin, in which AJ's had to do. And the fact is there's not enough talent on this team, and there won't be enough talent given the holes. In my mind, and I think everybody else's eyes can see it, it's not a World Series team. No matter what you do at the break here or at the trade deadline, unless you get incredibly lucky. And don't forget, every other contending team out there is going to be competing for starting pitching, power hitting, all the things that the Padres need. It's not just putting together a trade package. It's you're competing against other teams that probably have better trade packages. So we are in one hell of a mess. One thing I'll remind you, and I'll let you go after this. I'm not afraid of rebuilding. AJ is supposed to be a great talent evaluator. I think if he were freed up from all of this mess, he could honestly build a team without having to be constrained by these contracts. He could probably rebuild this thing quicker. Look at St. Louis. They've turned around pretty well. Chicago went from a disaster to being a respectable team. Even the Rockies are playing better with younger kids. So I'm not a fan of continually trying to sell this notion by going to the recycle bin and sitting in the great pumpkin patch every single year with Charlie Brown that somehow we're going to get to a World Series with this group. It's been proven it's not happening just by the records and by the lack of performance and injuries. We're in a hell of a mess, as you said, and I've said the same thing. We're stuck. And how to get out of this thing, I think it's going to take a hell of a lot of courage to do things that we need to do. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate the phone call, Kevin. He brings up the Cardinals. The difference, though, with the Cardinals, Frank, is they didn't have a lot of money to like get rid of.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado was the most. They're eating $22 million this year and $9 million next year, and that's it. Like, that's all the money they have to eat on the trade for him. Sonny Gray, they're eating $20 million this year, and then it's over. Wills Contreras, they're eating $4 million this year and $4 million next year, and then it's over. Like, it's a little bit less, but the St. Louis Cardinals are spending $99 million on their payroll. 42 million of it is for players that aren't even on their team. The problem with the Padres doing this, and I get what Kevin is saying, like if he gets out of those contracts, he could probably build a great team. Yeah, but you're not going to get out of those contracts for a long time. I mean, the Cardinals got rid of Nolan. $22 million they are paying for Nolan Arenado to play for the Diamondbacks. So it's a lot easier for teams to do that when they don't have to pay him for the next 5 or 6, 7 years. You're going to have to pay them regardless. So if you want to free up payroll, which is fine, you're still going to be paying probably $170 million on dead contracts. And so you're still going to have a high payroll. You're just not going to have those players. That's what we're trying to say here with these deals. It's not. It's an insignificant amount of money that's going to save you to get out of this problem. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Ron in La Mesa. Ron, what's going on? We're getting closer to K-State football, baby.
You know, I'm waiting for my comments in August because it's going to take me a while to go over the K-State team that it is because I'm still not sure who it is. Anyway, Braden, you'll be happy to know the sphere is in one shape, a good shape. The top golf in Vegas may never be the same. I take no blame for it. That's just the way it is. Hey, guys, this is our team. This is who we are. We knew when we signed all those long-term contracts, if Preller was going to start trading off all of our good young talent, that we're going to have to go through this. The only guy that we should trade is blaming here. Anyway, Maury Hone, thank you. And because you might be able to get a couple good prospects. But everybody else is on the team. It's going to be in the off season with the new owner, and we go after some good free agents. We need pitching. We don't have the pitching to be in the World Series or even the playoffs. Frank, quick soccer question. What the hell? I've seen more flopping the last time I watched the Bassmaster. I don't understand that. And offsides is stupid. They need to get rid of it. See you, boys.
That was great. That was great.
I think I was going to get a legitimate question.
That was great.
That was fantastic.
More flopping in the Bassmasters fishing contest. Oh, man.
It's a tactical advantage. That's why they do it. It's not right, and they can get carded for it. But yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from.
I think offsides has gotten to a point that needs to be adjusted a little bit. But other than that, I mean, I get the concept of it. To go back to the Cardinals, Frank, it's a lot easier to reset and and eat some money when you have like 2 years left on a deal, not when you have like 7 years left on a deal.
No,
and eventually they're going to get to that point, probably in the next 3 or 4 years. But you're not at that. You're not at that point yet. You have to suffer through this. This is what you signed up for. And even if you didn't, even if because we talked about it before, in order to get Xander Bogaerts, you have to pay for the rest of his career, probably 8 years. It has to cost $280 million. They're saving money by spreading out over 11 years. You're only really paying for about 8 years. You're still not at that full 8 years yet. And even in that portion, you are going to get some down years. And right now, unfortunately, you're getting them all at the same time.
Yeah, and that's the bad thing. That's the one thing that you hope never happens, is that you are suffering through everyone's career worst season at the same time.
And that's including the young guys.
Yep.
And one of the guys that's not having a career worst year is a guy that's doing it with his power, and that's Fernando. Like, Fernando's having a pretty decent offensive season, except for the power, right? You don't even get, even when he's playing decent and probably well, a 284 average, he's only got 5 home runs. I mean, you are getting everything at their worst right now.
It's
unfortunate.
It's a lost season. That's really all it is. It's just a lost season.
And you know what? You see that with teams that compete too. You see that with a lot of teams. I mean, Atlanta can at least last year say it was injury related. I mean, the Padres have had a lot of injuries too. They don't have as many as what Atlanta had last year, but last year was a lost season for Atlanta. It happens sometimes. Sometimes it's injuries, sometimes it's bad luck, sometimes it's just, you got a bad year. But there's no easy exit plan to this. The more you look into what the consequences of these actions would be, it's better to keep some of these guys. It is. It's better to keep some of these guys than anything else. Now, I will say this. I don't think you need to double down and trade Ethan Salas. I don't think there's any player in the world that you can trade Ethan Salas for that's going to make this team a World Series caliber team this year. There's not one. And I don't think you could trade Cruz Schoolcraft. I don't think you could trade Cash Mayfield. I think, you know what? I'll tell you when we come back. This is what I think the Padres can do at the deadline. Whether or not they will do it will be interesting. But this is what I think will happen. We'll discuss next. What's up, guys? This is Braden Surprenant. The FIFA World Cup is entering its biggest match. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, Steady Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. On our fan Twitter, Frank, they have...
On our fan or the fan Twitter?
The fan. 97.3, the fan.
Please don't make a fan Twitter of the show. Please don't do that.
I'm not going to.
I'm not going to either.
I will call you a windsock if you do. Pull the clip. There should be a clip from Dennis Lin talking about what they like, because Woods asked him about the Mason Miller situation. I want to play that before I talk about what we think the Padres might do at the deadline. And I'm not saying they're making a blockbuster trade. You must invest in this team. It's so close, because it's not. Here's Dennis Lin earlier on the morning show discussing what he's hearing about Mason Miller potentially being traded, especially since we played the Jim Bowden thing, and he was like, trade with the Yankees. Here's what Dennis Lin had to say.
What about Mason? What's your read on it?
I think that decision would have to come down to the very end, but I think all things considered, they'd hate to trade him.
Sure.
So my guess is he'll still be a Padre after the deadline. I mean, he has a lot of years of control, so if things go south, you could try to trade him in the offseason too. But I think just moving a guy of that caliber is really tough unless you're the guy from the other side, AJ Preller, trading for him, last year. And a lot of teams, if you ask GMs, just don't want to give up great prospects unless, I guess, you're AJ Preller again last year. So my feeling is he'll be here after the deadline unless they totally just tank in the standings next few weeks. But it's hard to see a guy who's maybe the best closer in the game, not be used very often. So I understand why you're asking the question.
No doubt.
I understand that. I understand. I mean, I'd ask the same question, because that's the only thing that fans right now think you have trade value-wise. And Dennis lays it out right there. We've talked about this, Frank. Other teams are not willing to give up their number one prospect for a closer. They're not. The only one that was AJ. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just telling you what's the situation right now. Trading Mason Miller is not going to solve all your problems. If you were able to do that and you did get, let's just say you got the Juan Soto haul back, which means you got a team's number 1, 2, 4, 5, and 19th prospect. You are lucky if two of those guys pan out to James Wood and CJ Abrams. I mean, lucky. Because the other three, one hasn't made the big leagues yet. One's playing for the Texas Rangers, and he's okay, mediocre at best. And the other one just got cut by Washington, who, by the way, was the number 2 prospect in that group. So if you only get 2 guys back, let's just spread it out evenly. Let's say you get an all-star position player and you get a starting pitcher. You still have so many holes. It just, at that point, it just doesn't make any sense, because you still have to have the big contracts on the team. So I don't think it's really worth it to trade him. I think Mason Miller is probably better on your team than whatever he might bring back in a trade. Sure, people say, like, you could get 4 pieces, but what is that? When has that ever worked out? Has it? I mean, just off the top of my head, Frank, when has a trade like that worked out for the team that got the prospects and all 4 were studs?
Very rarely, if ever.
I think the best one right now is Washington getting 2 guys for Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, let's think about the Padres trade for to the Yankees for Juan Soto. I mean, they got Michael King, they got Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez. I mean, some of those guys are good, but they're solid. They didn't solve your problems. Who else can you think of? Like, I mean, I think a lot of people just think you're going to get the Dallas Cowboys trade. Was that Herschel Walker? Is that what they traded? Was it a big trade, big Cowboys trade? It's not what you do. It's not the picks that matter. It's what you do with the picks that matters. I mean, look at the Mookie Betts trade. Anybody still around from that trade in Boston?
Not in Boston.
Any of those guys good? I mean, is Alex Verdugo even playing baseball anymore? I mean, remember that? We got a haul for Mookie Betts. Where is it? I guess you could say some of these deals, like Miami got a pretty. You've seen a couple of them where they've been pretty solid, but try to think off the top of my head. I know the Pirates. The Rays have always fleeced people. It seems like. I mean, they got a pretty good haul out of the Pirates for that one pitcher that they had. I forget, blanking on his name. And Miami's had a couple of good trades where they, brought in some guys, I think from St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. But again, it's like, it's never, every time they go, you could get 4 pieces. Like Jim Bowden's like, they get 4 good pieces. Yeah, Chris Archer, that was his name. The Chris Archer trade was pretty, I mean, that's one that just off the top of the dome was a good trade for the Rays, because Chris Archer was not that great in Pittsburgh. And the Rays got some pretty good. They got Tyler Glasnow and Austin Meadows. I mean, but even then, it's like, Tyler Glasnow was good. Austin Meadows was like okay, right? I mean, I don't remember him like having that great of a career. He was solid
serviceable,
there. He was serviceable, but was he like a perennial all-star for them?
No.
I remember him being super hyped up, like he was going to be great. I mean, he played 2018 to 2023. That was it. He had a 6-year career, 6.4 WAR. I mean, with Tampa, his first year, he's an all-star. And then after that, it was 205 hitter, 234 hitter, 250 hitter, 238 hitter. Some of that was with Detroit. That was another can't miss guy, right? So I'm just saying, I feel like you think it's going to be a lot, but it's really not. So with all that being said, this is what I think the Padres actually will do, and probably what they should do. They're not, in my opinion, they're not going to make a gigantic splash. They're not going to like go get a Tarek Skubal. They're not going to go get who's like the big. I don't even know who like would be on the block that's like a big position player right now. I don't think they're making a splash. I don't think they're trading Ethan Salas. I think if they trade somebody, they might trade one of the pitchers down there in the minor leagues. Is that the right thing to do? I don't necessarily know if that's the case, because this team needs a lot. Dennis Lynn mentioned that earlier. They need 3 arms. They need like 2 bats. I mean, I don't even know if it's feasible to fix all the problems that they have. My thing is I think they're going to trade from a strength bullpen, and I think they're going to get something back that can help you in the major leagues in another area. They're not. The starting pitching situation is dire, and I don't know how they're going to be able to get any starting pitcher without costing themselves a lot, because of the fact everybody needs starting pitching, and every contender needs to keep their starting pitching, so they're not going to get starting pitching. They might be able to get a bat or two, but they need they need Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta to come back. I mean, that's not really a plan. But I don't think there's enough to sell that's going to make it worth your while in terms of like the big contract guys. First of all, nobody's going to take them. And so I either think they're going to trade from the major league team to improve the roster. Maybe it's Miguel Andujar. Maybe it's a Ty France. Maybe you strike it rich on Wandy Peralta. Maybe he continues to pitch well and you can flip him for somebody. Or I think they're going to take on payroll like Tony Gwynn Jr. mentioned a couple of weeks ago. The other thing, too, with this team is I feel like you really can't get a gauge, Frank, until the new ownership officially gets approved. And you can have an offseason with them.
Yeah. And that is a big factor in this as well. And I don't even know how much of a factor it is because of what's impending this offseason with the CBA. So it would definitely impact as far as willingness to eat money and willingness to watch guys play for another team for the next 6 years. But as far as you don't really know how much impact the new ownership is going to have money-wise, because you don't know what kind of system you're going to be playing under. Are you going to be playing under this luxury tax system, or are you going to be playing under a hard cap system next year?
I also don't, you also don't know what the rules are.
Yeah.
Are they going to put in, right? Like they're still negotiating. They're going to put in the NHL, like when they went to a salary cap, that in order to get under the cap, maybe you can pay for a player to go away. And they allow you to do that. You can cut him, but you pay him over a long period of time with, Bobby Bonilla money. That's what the NHL did. Is that going to go into Major League? There's just so many factors at play here. And, I think until that they announce the owners or they get approved by, and I don't know what's taking so long with this. Does anybody know what's taking so long with this? Have I missed that? I mean, maybe I've missed it, but I don't know what's taking so long with the ownership getting approved by the rest of the owners. Have we gotten any reports on that?
I don't
Has
know.
any other show talked about that?
I think
they keep putting it off.
I think someone asked that question. I think Ben and Woods responded to that saying it should be the middle of this month is when it should be getting approved.
Would that be something get approved and all of a sudden the Padres start adding all this payroll? They're in the final stages of this approval, it sounds like. I mean, they need 75% of the owners to say yes. So they need at least 22 of the 29 to say yes. I don't know what's taking so long, but
they are kind of dealing with something else
as
well.
That's
so
true.
It's not like they're just sitting there.
So, we'll see. But at the trade deadline, Frank, I think a lot of people here buy and they go blockbuster because that's what AJ Preller's done. I don't think the Padres are going to do that. I think they're going to do like what they did in 2023 and kind of buy on the margins and see how this team plays out. And that honestly, that's what you signed up to do a couple of years ago when you signed these contracts.
Yeah.
833-288-973, 833-288-973. We're going to get to our World Cup date in the noon hour. We'll also get to our sports thread. A lot else going on in the sports world besides Padres baseball. We'll get to that when we come back. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fans. Good to be with all of you today. Hopefully you guys had a great 4th of July weekend holiday. Padres back in action today. 4-game series against Arizona, 3-game series against Toronto. They need to have a good week this week to keep their slim playoff chances alive. It's very slim. And they're starting to fade very fast. At least they won on yesterday. I will say this, though, Frank. Our conversation today on the show would have been drastically different if they kept the leads on Thursday and Friday. And I think that's what makes this team even more frustrating to watch, is they have shown, as bad as they have performed, that they could go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the major league, but they just cannot finish a lot of these games.
Yeah, no, and that's the funny part, because that's what we said was the best part of this team was the bullpen, and then being able to finish off these games. But again, it all goes back to the offense. And this pitching cracking under the weight of not having an offense to speak of for 2 months and putting so much pressure and stress on them that pitchers could not come in a non-high leverage situation unless they were down by a ridiculous amount of runs.
And now you found yourself 4 games out of a wild card spot, which sucks. But what sucks even more is you got 4 teams in front of you now that you have to climb.
And those 4 teams, let me look at it again just to make sure.
Arizona, I have it pulled up.
Okay.
Arizona, Washington, Pittsburgh, Miami. You haven't played Miami yet. You're splitting right now with Arizona. You're 1-2 against the Nationals. You have a winning record against the Pirates. But none of that really matters because they're going to have to pass St. Louis, Philly, and Chicago for that to be a factor, because you've already lost the season series to the 3 teams that currently have the spot in the National League wild card.
And then Atlanta and Milwaukee as well. If the division leaders don't hold, you're winning the season series against Atlanta, but you're down against Milwaukee too. So you're digging. You got a hole there as well, even if the division leaders do change.
They can't dig themselves in more of a hole than they already are in. And what a difference a week and a half makes, right?
Mm-hmm.
A week and a half ago, relatively, the Padres had beaten the Dodgers. They had won 4 straight games. They had their first positive run differential in a long time, and then just the worst week you could potentially have, and you lose the 8 games.
A historically bad week for this franchise.
Yeah, not in terms of how many games you lost in a row, but in terms of how many just bludgeonings they took throughout the entire week. And your long 8-game winning streak at the beginning of the year has now been negated by your 8-game losing streak, which I guess you're like back to being the Cubs at that point in time. Cubs have had a 10-game winning streak and a 10-game losing streak. In fact, the good thing, though, is they have had 2 10-game winning streaks, and that's why they're 10 games above 500. I mean, that's how much of a difference it is, right? Like the Cubs right now are the top wild card team. They're 10 games above 500, and it's because they had a 10-game winning streak. Other than that, they've played 500 the rest of the way. They've played 500 ball the entire season, except for the 10 games they won in a row. Padres really could get on some type of winning streak here. It would really help them out. If they went back on an 8-game winning streak, they'd be the Cubs. They'd be right back to where they were at the beginning of the season.
Well, they would be.
Hey, you know what? They could do it before the All-Star break. They got 7 games left before the All-Star break, Frank.
Yeah, and 4 very important games for multiple different reasons against Arizona here, and then you close out against Toronto, which they're no slouch either.
Think about how bad Arizona is to an extent of it has taken how long for them to finally tie the Padres in the standings? All right, let's take a break from the baseball talk. Let's get to what else is going on in the sports world with today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on in the sports world today?
We have an interesting story here coming out of Miami.
Number one.
A retrial in the 2006 killing of former Miami Hurricanes football player Brian Pata is drawing renewed attention after major media organizations, including ESPN, oppose the possibility of closing court proceedings to the public. The case against former teammate Rashawn Jones ended in a hung jury earlier this year, and the defense has also objected to any courtroom closure or gag order. The debate now centers on balancing a fair trial with the public's right to access one of college football's longest-running criminal cases. Should high-profile criminal cases remain fully open to the public, or can limiting media access sometimes be necessary to ensure a fair trial?
I don't necessarily think you should have a lot of these. I mean, you probably shouldn't have a lot of these criminal cases fully open to the public until it's officially been determined, because it could influence jurors and future jurors and all that other fun stuff. So that's how I view that situation.
Just an interesting case all the way around.
Number two.
The Chicago White Sox are close to getting a major boost as rookie slugger Murataka Murakami begins a rehab assignment after missing more than a month with a hamstring injury. Murakami was among the American League leaders in home runs before getting hurt, and Chicago has surprisingly remained atop the AL Central despite his absence. If the rehab goes well, the White Sox could have one of their biggest offensive weapons back before the All-Star break. How dangerous do the White Sox become with Murakami back in the lineup? And are they legitimate contenders in the American League?
I think they're a legitimate contender because they're playing good baseball in the American League. It's mostly below 500.
And they're doing it without him.
Yeah, they're doing it right now without him. They're 47-42. They lead the division. Now they got Cleveland right there on their ass. But, I mean, the Rangers have a playoff spot right now at 45-45. They're right there. By the way, how about the Astros? They're a game out of a wild card spot now, despite the start to the season they've had either 45-47. I think they're a legit contender.
I do as well, and it's surprising how quickly. You want to talk about a quick turnaround? That was 2 years ago that they were the worst team in the history of baseball, and now they're leading the division going into the All-Star break.
Yep.
That is unbelievable.
Pays the draft high.
Number three.
Norway pulled off one of the biggest upsets in the World Cup, knocking out Brazil 2-1 behind 2 goals from Erling Haaland. The victory sends Norway to its first ever World Cup quarterfinal and marks the nation's biggest win on the international stage, with Haaland calling it one of the greatest days in Norwegian sports history. Now Norway's dream run continues with a quarterfinal against England. Was Norway's win over Brazil the biggest upset in the World Cup this year? And how far can Erling Haaland drag Norway?
Well, when you got one good player on your team, you can build around that one good player. You can really have a good chance. I don't know, because England had looked like they had a pretty good defense last night against Mexico. And that's despite playing with 10 players and everything like that. So I think England's going to be a tough test. Is it the biggest upset? Can I pick an upset where it's a draw? Because I feel like Cape Verde drawing with Spain was kind of a big deal.
Yes. Yeah, that was the exact game I thought. And also, how about them going to extra time against the defending champions? Cape Verde has been the upset story so far in this World Cup. I also don't see it all that impressive for Norway. I mean, for Norway and the history that they've had, yes, it is a huge win for them. This Brazil team hasn't looked all that good all throughout the tournament. So I would agree. I would say, yes, it's a big win for Norway. I don't think it's the biggest upset this tournament.
I don't think so either.
I wouldn't
I think Cape Verde.
I
think Cape Verde going toe to toe with Spain and then almost beating Argentina. I mean, like they to me are the biggest upset of the tournament so far.
Going toe to toe with not only Spain and Argentina but Uruguay as well, who won the first 2 World Cups and are a perennial contender. That's huge by them.
Number 4.
The LeBron James free agent saga is officially underway. And according to agent Rich Paul, 27 teams have reached out about the four-time champion. While Paul highlighted strong fits like Philadelphia, Cleveland, Denver, and Miami, and Golden State, he emphasized that LeBron's decision will be based on more than just basketball, calling it, quote, a bucket of happiness that includes lifestyle, relationship, and competition. At 41, and with nothing left to prove, James is taking what could be the most personal decision of his career. If you're LeBron, which team gives you the best chance at adding one more championship, and should legacy or happiness be the biggest factor in this decision?
For LeBron, I mean, I don't necessarily know at this point, like, how much more does he have to do for his legacy? Does he need to win one more time?
He doesn't need to do anything.
I don't think he needs to do anything.
He's one of the top 5 greatest players to ever play the game.
At this point, you might as well just play where you want to live, or like where you want to like be. You might as well. I think it's probably happiness probably matters more than legacy in this particular deal.
I don't see him going back to Cleveland. I mean, it's interesting, the whole story.
Unless he just wants to live there permanently and he likes living in Cleveland and that's where he grew up and that's where he's going to retire. Sure, but I don't think he's going to do it for nostalgia purposes.
I mean,
what was the other team you listed?
You've already come back and won a championship there. So like that, it's not like you have unfinished business. Philadelphia, meh.
I don't know why you'd go to Philly.
No, I have no idea either. Unless you want to play
miserable.
Unless you want to play with Jaylen Brown. That's really it.
He doesn't want to deal with the fans in Philly.
Denver. Why? Miami, you've already won a champion. You've already won championships there. Unless you want to do the career send-off, which honestly it would fit better in Cleveland if you wanted to do that. And Golden State.
I could see. I see him. I think it's between Golden State and Cleveland. Golden State, you don't even have to move, really. I mean, you could still stay in LA.
Yeah,
and just buy a place up in Golden State. I mean, I guess you don't really have to do that for any place that he goes to because it's LeBron. But you know, if you're LeBron, you don't have to change your lifestyle too much. If you go to Golden State, they're always competitive. You get to play with some good players, even though they're aging. Like
they already said, they're not trading Anthony Davis. The Wizards have already said that. So
you're not getting Anthony Davis with you. I mean, so it just depends. Do you want to retire in Cleveland, Ohio, and go back home, or do you want to go to Golden State? I don't think he's picking based on legacy. I think he's picking based on
on personal.
Yeah, comfortability, if you will. We got World Cup starting up here in about 5 minutes, and we're going to give you our World Cup date as we have 4 games left in the round of 16. 4 teams trying to punch their ticket to the quarterfinals. go.
This is San Diego sports. The wins, the losses, the moments that matter, and the opinions that come with them.
Padres have clinched the playoffs in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 05 and 06.
No hype, no filter. Just the truth about your teams, your city, and the people who care about it most.
The reality is the expectations are higher now for this club than they were in 2019 and 2020 when the Padres hadn't made the playoffs that many times.
He's been here. He knows this city. And now he's leading the conversation every single day. Live and local on 97.3 The Fan.
This is fun. We're doing this for fun. This is fun. Have fun. Enjoy the fun with us having fun.
Now, here's Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on The Fan. Portugal, Spain just got underway. The winner of that game will take on the winner of USA Belgium coming up at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. We are in our World Cupdate, if you will. 4 games left in the round of 16. 4 teams trying to punch their ticket into the quarterfinals. Let's get to our World Cupdate.
And we've got a lot to get to, so no highlights today after we've missed so much. Thursday, Spain, who play right now, beat Austria, knocking them out of the tournament 3-0. Portugal, who also plays right now, got a late goal from Gonzalo Ramos in the 90th minute +4 to get past Croatia 2-1 to set up this game. Switzerland then taking down Algeria, 2-0. Friday, Australia and Egypt go to penalty kicks. Egypt wins on penalties, 1-1 final score, 4-2 in penalty kicks. They make their first round of 16 in nation history. We've referenced this before. Argentina versus Cape Verde, an unbelievable match. Argentina scores in added time at the end of the second half. Lisandro Martinez in the 92nd, score at the very beginning of extra time. They go into extra time 1-1. Lisandro Martinez scores in the 92nd minute. Then Sidney Lopez Cabral scores in the 103rd to tie it up. And in one of the most cruel twists of fate that this sport has ever done, Cape Verde eliminated on an own goal in the 111th minute. This magical run that they have somehow put on comes to an end after an own goal.
That was very unfortunate. I mean, they had arguably one of the best goals of the tournament to tie it late in that match, and then an own goal that ends their World Cup run. Hopefully this is the one that puts them on the map, and we'll see them again in the next World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Colombia beating Ghana 1-0 after a 14th minute goal by John Arias. So there is your round of 32 done and dusted. Going into Saturday, started the round of 16. Canada's magical run comes to an unfortunate end. Morocco taking the win 3-0. And then Paraguay losing out to Kylian Mbappe and France. Mbappe scoring on a penalty kick in the 70th minute. Adam just sent it to us. We're not going to read it for obvious reasons, but did you see the rant that one of the government officials in Paraguay had after this?
I did not, no.
Oh, it's a doozy.
Oh, nice.
Adam just sent it to us. Yeah, not safe for re-air, I will say.
Okay, cool.
Sunday, yesterday, we mentioned Norway beating Brazil 2-1. Erling Haaland scoring 2 goals in the 79th and the 90th minute. Neymar scores on a penalty kick late into added time to make it a little bit more respectable. But again, Brazil just did not look like Brazil in this tournament. And then last night, contender for match of the tournament, Mexico versus England. England gets out to a 2-0 lead with Jude Bellingham scoring in the 36th and 38th minutes. Julian Quinones comes back, scores a goal in the 42nd. It's 2-1 going into the half. Harry Kane scores on a penalty kick after Jarrell Quansah gets ejected with a red card in the 54th minute. Raul Jimenez scoring again in the 89th minute. Both of the goals in the second half coming on a penalty kick. And then about 12 minutes of added time, of just incredible play. England winning 3-2, knocking out Mexico. So 2 of the 3 host nations gone in the round of 16. The third one plays tonight. Spain versus Portugal going on right now. They are going into the 6th minute as we speak, the Iberia Bowl, if you will.
The Iberia Bowl.
And Spain, United States versus Belgium will play later on tonight. That'll be a 5 p.m. kick on Fox.
I was watching so I was flipping back and forth last night between Mexico and England and the Padres, and this is my luck with flipping channels yesterday. It was like I think it was like the 30th minute of the game.
Yeah.
I flip it back to the Padres. And then it's whatever. They might have gone a break, and then I flip it back. It's the 34th
might have been the
minute.
hydration break.
There's 34 minutes. No. I flipped while they were playing.
Okay.
And I meant in the Padre game. I think they went to break. I flipped back, and it's the 34th minute. And it's 2-0, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, Bellingham scored 2 very, very quickly, 2 in 3 minutes.
And so I flip it to that game, and I go, "What happened?" I watch the replay. I flip it back to the Padres, and Machado had just touched home plate after he hit a 3-run homer. I had missed all the scoring in the 2 games I was watching on 2 flips in a span of like 10 minutes.
You know, you keep saying that the one household luxury that keeps getting cheaper is televisions. You might want to invest in a second one.
I might as
bud.
well buy like multiple, dude. I was not on my remote game. I should have done split screen. I should have anything. This is why you need the quad box.
Forget the quad box. Just get quad TVs. Just 4 gigantic TVs on the wall. With 4 different things.
I was watching TV outside. I was enjoying the outside. So we have a movable TV at my parents' house that I was using, and so I had to flip it, and it's not big enough to do a split screen. It would look dumb. So I was flipping back and forth. If I set up, because I hung out at my parents' house this weekend because they have a pool, it's great. If I set up multiple TVs outside in my mom's backyard, she would lose her mind. She'd be like, "What are you doing?" If I did that anywhere else, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" At my place, me and my roommate, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm studying for work, Mom. What do you want from me?
I try to use that excuse a lot. It doesn't work. So if it doesn't work with her, how is it supposed to work with my friend in the future? I don't think it is. I think I'm SOL on that. I think they know that I can't pull that anymore. It's for work. Really? You're not talking about this on the show?
Yes, I am.
See, that's the downside of support sometimes. When they listen to the show, friends and family, they know what you talk about. Oh yeah. You're watching NASCAR, really, for the show? Really?
So they must know that we do a World Cupdate every Friday, every day at noon.
They should know.
So yes, we are talking about this as a matter of fact.
I had a great. I mean, this week they have a fire pit outside. TV set up by the fire pit. Little cigar, little mint julep. I was drinking mint juleps this weekend because I have an abundance of mint after I planted some. It was nice. I enjoyed it.
Very nice.
I didn't get to watch any scoring of any, apparently, as they flip back and forth. All right. Let's talk about the most talked about situation of this World Cup right now, and that's obviously that Bellingham is available to play today for Team USA after getting the red card in their last game. Team USA, maybe, politicians, whatever it may be, fought FIFA on this. FIFA announced that he was eligible to play, and then all hell broke loose for all the other teams still alive in the World Cup, saying it's unfair. I view this from a non-traditional soccer fan of a sense of, based on what we've seen some of the reports, it sounds like the way that they handled the red card situation was a little out of the ordinary, and it doesn't abide by the FIFA rules on how to use VAR. I'm not going to debate that, but that's what a lot of people have said. That's a lot of experts said on the fact that this was not called on the field. And in the rules, it said you cannot use super slow-mo to determine whether or not it's a red card, yada, 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 yada. So based on all the information that had been presented, it sounded like it shouldn't have been a red card based on what FIFA had said. And so the fact that Balogun got the red card and then was suspended for the next game eventually gets appealed. And I think everybody right now is upset with the fact that, well, it's a red card. It should be a red card. Why are you appealing? This sets a bad precedent. In my opinion, okay, whether or not it's a red card or not, after FIFA has announced that the player is eligible, yeah, okay, it doesn't seem right. That's what they ruled. But it comes to a certain point where you shouldn't be rooting for the other team's best player to be out. You should be, let's beat them at their best and let's be a winner here. And I don't think a lot of countries are dealing with that. I get they're crying foul on this because it doesn't help them and their best player. I think considering the circumstances, I understand why they came with this decision and why they shut down, Belgium's appeal. But once the ruling was set, I mean, you thought you were going to have to play Team USA with their best anyway. What happens if they didn't give them a red card? You'd still be playing. You'd still have to play them at their best. So suck it up and play them at their best. And you know what? If Belgium wins tonight, then you can be like, we beat them at their best. So as much as everybody says it's, tainted because, Balogun is eligible to play, I would say the same thing if he wasn't eligible to play and Belgium won. It's like, oh, well, you didn't beat them at their best. I mean, Team USA still won the game with 10 guys last night. England still won last night with 10 guys. We'll see if they appeal the decision of the red card. Look, I get it. I get it sets a bad precedent, yada, yada. But if they have some process to really work it out and get it right, first of all, I thought they did. Second of all, quit bitching about it. Start playing. Be competitive. That's my opinion on it. I know you slightly disagree on that, Frank, but you disagree more on the precedent it sets and the image it points to this World Cup and with all the history that FIFA has. And I understand that side of it too.
Yeah, with FIFA does have a very, very long history of being a shady, dark, corrupt organization. That's how Qatar got the World Cup in 2022. They got paid. They paid for it.
That's how a lot of these countries get to host the World Cup, where you're like, why are they hosting the World Cup?
Yeah, exactly. They paid. Qatar paid for it. And that's it's been unbelievable the amount of corruption. If you go down the line that FIFA has, this to me, forget about whether or not Trump asked for it. He
that
said,
shouldn't matter anyway.
No, it
if
doesn't.
He wants and here's the thing with we already know that he's gonna always make it about him anyway. Just don't get distracted by that.
Right, exactly. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's he said this in the True Social. He said this today. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters here is now that you have completely shot yourself in the foot. If you're FIFA, this World Cup has been unbelievable. It has been so good. The group stage matches have been great. The round of 32 matches have been great. You just coming off of one of the best matches in the World Cup history last night. You've had great stories. You've had incredible games. You've had games going to extra time and penalty kicks to start the round of 32. All of that now has a dark cloud over it because of this completely unforced error that FIFA made. They shot themselves in the foot for no reason. And now this entire tournament is going to be remembered for this the longer the U.S. goes. I feel as though without Balogun, the U.S. could have beat Belgium anyway. Belgium has not looked good. They're relying on their golden era stars who are in their mid to late 30s now to push this team through, and it's worked up to this point. This would have been a great test for Belgium, even without Balogun, and I think the U.S. could have beat them. I think they would have beat them. But now with this, it's just unbelievable how nonsensical this whole situation has been. And there have been teams that have had, and there have been nations that have gotten questionable and iffy red cards already in this tournament, and nothing has happened. And this has not happened. It feels so. It's basic FIFA. That's all this comes down to. It is typical FIFA, basic FIFA nonsense.
Yeah. You know what? This is the product you watch. I mean, this is what everybody knows they are. They do this all the time with other
right.
And you can't be surprised by it. And if they're always corrupt like this, then why is this one tainted compared to all the other ones that happen with all the other influence that they have? It's a tainted organization already.
No, it is.
It shouldn't be that surprising to people. And for countries like Belgium, suck it up and play. Suck it up and play. I just seriously. I mean, the whole I can't believe the best player gets to play. This is unfair.
He's not even their best player. Balogun, the U.S. has scored 10 goals. Balogun scored 3 of them. They have other goal scorers. They have Pulisic. They have Tillman.
Then
why is Belgium
why do they care? Again, it's like they're building excuses for when they lose, why it's not their fault. And I think that's a loser mentality. You either are a winner or you're not.
And like I said, I don't think they were going to win with or without Balogun. Belgium is most likely going to lose this match with or without Balogun.
Here's what the FIFA president said. I've seen the public comments regarding the decision of the independent FIFA disciplinary committee related to the suspension of Balogun and would like to reiterate the fundamental principle of FIFA's governance. FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. They operate autonomously, apply the FIFA disciplinary code, and decide cases based on the applicable regulations and specific facts before them. Their independence is essential to the credibility and integrity of football, and this must always be respected. Yes, I regularly discuss matters related to the FIFA World Cup with the President of the United States, and on this matter, I did receive a call from President Donald Trump, just as I received calls from heads of state, government officials, football stakeholders, and business executives from around the world on many different issues. During our conversation, I explained that there was an ongoing legal process involving FIFA's independent judicial bodies and that the case would be decided in due course by the competent bodies. This is how FIFA's system works, and it is a principle that I will always uphold. I read the decisions of the FIFA disciplinary committee when they are issued. Sometimes I am surprised by them. Sometimes I agree with them. And sometimes I disagree. They came up with that. They said he's eligible to play. It's time to lace it up and it's time to play.
And Blue Meanie, you can flip that too. Winners find solutions. You say, okay, well, now we know we're playing against him. You could use that for Belgium. Could have used that for the United States as well. It's like, okay, now we got to find a way to win without him. Could have used this. You could use that winners find solutions argument both ways.
My thing is if you're going to refuse to play and take your ball and go home, you're a loser.
They're playing.
Well, they should, but they've threatened all this other stuff, and they're going to continue to bitch about it. And if you're just going to bitch about a player you were expected to play before a very controversial red card that was like everybody's arguing whether or not it should or should not be a red card, and then FIFA decided, you know what, probably not worth the suspension, I don't think you can bitch about it anymore. I really don't. And if you want to, go ahead. You could just bitch and moan the whole time, and then you're going to bitch and moan the whole game, and instead of trying to figure out how to win, you're just going to bitch about it. That's the difference. So, I'm going to say right now, if Belgium goes out there and plays, and they lose, and then they bitch about it again in the post, it's going to be a bunch of crybaby losers. Just play the game. That's their team. Play the game. I am going to disagree with people in the YouTube chat. I am more competitive than that. And it happens all the time where you have ineligible players, ineligible players. I am never rooting for my opponent to be not at their best because it takes away from beating that opponent. I'm different than other people. I am. I'd rather take everybody on at their best. I really would. These conversations are why a lot, and this is not me, but why a lot of Americans go like, why am I watching this? I mean, so like, you can't have it both ways. Like, everybody always wants like the United States to like be into soccer. Now they are, and now it's like a huge problem. It is what it is. He's allowed to play. They ruled he's allowed to play. He's one of their better players. Deal with it and play the game. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I mean, nobody threw a fit, as Go Aztec said, when Ronaldo got his reversed by FIFA so he could play in the opening round game. It happens. But now all of a sudden it's a massive problem. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When we come back, we'll let you know what's going on in Spain and Portugal. We'll go back to our conversation about the Padres as well as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing us over at Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 12:27 on a Monday. Team USA will play at 5 o'clock. We have Spain and Portugal underway. It's the 27th minute. Just started it. Spain unbeaten in 34 straight matches, second longest streak in team history at 35, trying to keep it moving. Trying to keep it moving on that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Yeah, that's a good read. That's a good thing you didn't read that on air.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Told you.
That's worse than I thought it was.
Yep.
That was a ref?
No, that was a Paraguayan government official.
Oh, my God.
The hell? What was her name?
We don't need to say her name.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. Madame, a Paraguayan senator, said that.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yep.
That is crazy. All right, now that Balogun's playing, what does Team USA have to do against Belgium today?
Score more goals.
Yes, they do. That's definitely the case. They've looked good in every single one of their games. They were able to withstand Balogun getting a red card in the last game and even add a goal. What's the furthest Team USA has made it before? Have they made it to the quarterfinals before?
No, they've made it to the Final Four with in the first World Cup. They made it to the Final Four. They have not been back since.
We'll see how they do against Belgium tonight at 5 on Fox. They'll play the winner of Portugal and Spain. Tomorrow, we have games.
Blue Meanie, no, we're not paraphrasing that. There's not a way to paraphrase that. I'm sorry.
No, you're going to have to look it up.
Yeah, you can look that one up yourself. You cannot use the Braden Surprenant show as your Google for that.
Correct. Why would Adam send that to us?
I don't know.
Right in the middle of our World Cup date?
Yep.
If Frank was Ron Burgundy, we'd be in trouble. I'm Frank Marchese.
I was just about to do that too.
I thought last night's game was fun.
It was incredible. Last night's game was amazing.
From what I saw in the highlights, because I missed all the goals. Except for I saw the two PKs. I saw both England and Mexico's PK near the end right there. But I thought their defense was incredible last night. Even with playing with a man down, I mean, they made it very difficult to deal with.
Mexico had not faced a test like England all World Cup. The only thing that I would have thought was going to give Mexico an edge was the altitude and the fact that reports had come out that England had not coped well with the heat and altitude throughout the entire tournament.
Did you see what the humidity was last night in Mexico City?
Probably like 9,000.
It was. I don't think it goes that high. 90% humidity.
Yep, I believe it.
At the altitude in which Estadio Azteca is higher up than Mount Everest and stuff, right? I mean, that thing's way up there.
No, it's not.
It's it's huge. Estadio Azteca?
It's
73. It's 7,352 feet.
Yeah, or 2,241 meters for those international fans listening who don't use burgers per square mile as their measurement unit.
Burgers per square mile?
Yep.
Why would we go on the metric system? Everything's based on 100. It seems too easy.
Did you see the Aussies take over a Walmart? I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, and then they got kicked out.
Fans, yes.
And some choice chants on the way out.
Unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you so much, every other nation, for coming here and showing how funny you can be. It's awesome. Thank you.
Casings per square mile.
No, it's casings per square ton.
Rude.
Hey, I'm a recovering fat guy. I can make that joke.
I can make that joke. Yeah, it's 7,352 feet of altitude. It's Estadio Azteca. Oh, sorry, Mexico City Stadium. And 90% humidity. I mean, that is rough. It's amazing how England was able to survive that. They had fireworks going off at their hotel the night before. Did you see that too?
I did, yes.
Did you see that they booked 15 hotels and hired a bunch of people to pretend that they were the England team?
Yep.
So they could try to like throw Mexico fans off the scent?
That's classic Latin America, though. Especially, I know a lot of other places do it, but especially in Latin America. Like if you see, there have been wars fought between El Salvador and Honduras because of soccer. So I mean, it's always incredible to see. It really is. Didn't matter. They found him anyway. Yep. They always do. They always do. Always do. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to get back to our baseball coverage when we come back. Baseball coverage on 97 through the Fan is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi at one price, 5 years guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. When we come back, we do need a contestant for a midday sports standoff. If you can take me down in trivia, you will be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 food and beverage credit. Oasis Pool Deck at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is officially open for the season, offering a 6-acre elevated pool experience with 6 distinct pools and a live beach. Enter to win a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 food and beverage credit. To book your stay, visit FontainebleauLasVegas.com now. When we come back, we'll play the game. We will also talk about the Padres lone all-star, Mason Miller, on the other side. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Number Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
About to start the 41st minute of play. Spain and Portugal still scoreless. Portugal has had 3 corners. Spain has had 2. Looks like they're about to get to another one here as they're playing in Dallas. Big D.
Dallas Stadium all covered in grass as well.
Honestly, the owners have at this point, with how they have been able to flip all these stadiums to grass, there's really no excuse for them not to do it for the NFL. It's way better, too.
Hey, guys, can we do this? No. What you mean no? Like, what am I looking at right now?
Yeah. I gotta acknowledge this. It happens all the time in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
I've ignored it.
It's every time. It's like,
oh, where did he ring that off of? Shot off the corner kick. He put a dent in the crossbar with that shot.
Broke the backboard.
Yeah, he wrung that off the crossbar. Wow. Oh, it was headed away.
Oh.
That was labeled for the top of the net, and one of the Spanish defenders headed it up, and it hit the crossbar middle.
Anyway, we break it like the same time every day.
We do.
Every hour. And we have the same break times every day. Interesting. Yeah, I prefer to watch football on grass. I like playing on grass. I don't like playing on turf. I don't like coaching on turf. But I will say this. I understand while high schools have turf, it's cost effective. When you're a multi-billionaire organization in a multi-billionaire league, you can have grass for 8 games and be good at it. Like, it's not hard. I mean, they've kept this up for almost a month now. They've played multiple games on all of these areas, all these stadiums. And here's the thing, like, most of the stadiums now that are enclosed, because those would be the only ones you would have issues with when it comes to like grass, because I don't know, you need the sun. There's ways around that with technology. Most of them are retractable roofs now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a trivia question for you before we get to the
trivia game.
Are there any NFL stadiums that do not have a retractable roof?
Oh, don't have a retractable roof?
Or have some type of opening in the roof? I mean, I start thinking about all the domes. No, the ones that are domes specifically that are not retractable.
Domes that are specifically?
Because it's not like you have the Superdome anymore. I mean, it's probably the Superdome in New Orleans.
That's retractable.
No, it's not. Superdome?
The Super... No, they play in the...
That's
it. Wait, no.
There's two Mercedes. There's two Mercedes.
The ones in Atlanta.
Mercedes has the naming rights for both the one in Atlanta and in New Orleans. New Orleans is not retractable. That's an old school dome.
Yeah, that's a dome.
But Atlanta is.
Yeah, Atlanta is.
I mean, I don't know how many times I had to hear that SoFi is an open air facility. Plus, they have the transparent roof, so they're technically outdoors.
Oh, it's not. It's not the Mercedes. It's the Caesars, the Little Caesars Superdome.
Well, they changed it because it was Mercedes something before they Caesars. But is Arizona? Is Arizona? Well, they have the removable field. They're already grass.
Yeah, they
don't have to worry
removable
about
door.
Arizona. But I think theirs is retractable, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's not. But they have a retractable field.
Yeah,
Who else has a dome? Minnesota. Is that retractable?
No, I think
It's
that's
made of glass, though.
Yeah,
I mean, they
that
have
one's-
sun coming through.
Houston's retractable.
Houston's retractable. Dallas is.
I don't think Detroit is. I don't
Ford
think
Field
Detroit's
is not. Ford Field
Yeah.
is not. You'd have an issue, I guess, with Ford Field. Who else has a dome? I mean, a lot of these stadiums are like just building roofs now and play. I mean, like Tennessee is going to have the transparent roof, and Kansas City is going to have the transparent roof, and all. They could totally do grass.
Miami and Buffalo are going to have coverage, but that's only over the stands. The playing surface is going to be bare to the elements.
Correct. New York's out in the open. Washington's out in the open. Washington said they're all building the same field now that has the glass roof, the transparent roof, if you will. So,
sorry, the Caesars Superdome. It's not Little Caesars. My bad.
That's in Detroit. Little Caesars Bowl.
Yeah, the Little Caesars. Whatever. I'm done naming names now.
All right, let's get to the midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me, Mr.
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on today? Who we got playing today?
Joining us on this wonderful Jose Terrenz Day, Kyle in San Diego. Kyle, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Doing all right. Could you lower the radio in the background, please? So as we
I have it on my hands-free calling device.
Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. We'll deal with it then. So today's question, with NCAA Football 27 coming out on Thursday the 9th, we want to know who are the top 10 ranked teams in NCAA 27 by overall. So not by the AP rankings, just who are the 10 best overall teams.
Their overall ranking.
Yeah, their overall ranking in the game. Kyle, you have the first guess.
Let's go, Illinois.
Illinois is not there. Not in the top 10, at least.
Oh, sorry.
I think he realized what
Is he
meant
yelling
to
at himself?
I think he realized what he meant to say. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Indiana is probably what he was meaning to say.
Boy, Indiana, number 3. They have a 90 overall.
They're number 3.
Kyle?
Said.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Let's go Alabama.
Alabama is surprisingly not there.
I'm not that surprised. They've kind of started to move their way.
They have, but that is very interesting. Usually the legacy schools usually get a little bit of an overall bump.
I noticed the guy in the YouTube chat has no idea what I've been talking about for the last 2 hours. Just want to acknowledge that. Thanks for listening. Okay, I'm not surprised Alabama's on that list because they've been starting to fall apart, and they just wrote a letter to their local congressman to not pass the protect college football thing because they know they're about to become relevant.
Legendary.
Anyway, I digress on the Alabama situation. Georgia has to be part of the top 10.
Georgia is a part of the top 10. I'm reluctant to do the ding here. Hold on. Hey, we didn't get the thing. All right, Kyle, last chance here. You're on 2 strikes.
All right, we're going to get back on track. Ohio State. Give me one.
They are number 2.
All right.
At 90 overall.
What did you say?
Georgia's at 87. They're number 9.
Georgia's 9. Oh.
87 overall is the basement.
Texas.
Texas, 89.
What number?
Number 5.
Really? All right, I have another one out there
Kyle?
that I think is probably close then.
Let's go Miami.
Miami, number 7 at 88 overall.
7 for Miami. Okay, LSU. Paid a ton of money for players.
Number 8 at 88 overall. Kyle, you need to get this one because Braden's at 4 here.
Let's go. It's NCAA. Got to be a fan favorite. Notre Dame.
Number 4 at 89 overall. Braden, if you get this one, it is over. You will have taken at least. Actually, no, it won't be over. Sorry, you'll have tied him.
The last one I was gonna pick, or the next one was Oregon. Oregon's got to be in it.
Oregon is the statistical best team in NCAA 27 with a 91 overall. So we are missing number 6 and number 10. Kyle?
Did Braden say Ole Miss?
No.
There's number 6. So, Kyle, you need Braden to miss this one.
This is tough because the video game rankings are super high. I feel like there's got to be another team for the Big Ten in there. What about Penn State?
You're hilarious. No, the same Penn State team that just lost all of its players?
They just picked up a bunch of new players.
That's cool. Kyle?
Texas Tech.
You mean the Texas Tech that just lost their quarterback, Braden Surprenant?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kyle. That was strike number 3. I'll give you a chance to answer back if Braden misses this one here.
All right. Well, I think it proves the point that the Big Ten's not as good as everybody says it is, even though they have the top 3 teams on here. It's got to be another SEC team. Okay. It's not Arkansas. It's not going to be Missouri. It's not going to be Vanderbilt. No. What about Oklahoma's always around?
Sorry, Kyle. That is number 10. Oklahoma at 87 overall is number 10. So the top 10 ranked teams by overall in NCAA 27. Oregon at 91. Ohio State and Indiana at 90. Notre Dame and Texas at 89. Ole Miss, Miami, and LSU at 88. Georgia and Oklahoma at 87.
TCU got like an 80 or something like that. Every time they get ranked low, they usually have a good season. So we'll see.
And yes, if you did buy the pre-order for, I think it was $90, you get to play it today. But if you just bought the bog standard game like I did, because I don't care about any of the Ultimate Team nonsense, we get it on Thursday, the 9th.
I don't get any of the Ultimate Team nonsense. I have zero interest in ever playing that. I don't care. I don't like playing online. I just want to play Dynasty mode, do some mascot mashup.
Have you seen...
Road to Glory. There's enough game modes that you can play where I don't have to play online. And the one that I don't care about at all is Ultimate Team.
But,
I could give a bleep.
You see, here's the thing though. Ultimate Team though can take your money.
Yeah.
So that's why it's 1 in the game, and 2, anytime you open it, it's going to be directing you to Ultimate Team, is because it can take your money.
I like to thank the dumb people that spend their money on Ultimate Team for allowing me to play this game myself.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing that. There's so many modes I'd rather do that don't cost money.
Have you seen the changes to dynasty mode this year? I can't think today.
It is a Monday. No, I have not.
You actually it makes rebuilding harder. Because like if you
They have
want
the
to take,
NIL stuff, right?
yes, they do. They actually have NIL, and it ranges. So like if you play as Alabama, you get like 20,000 NIL points. But if you want to rebuild Southern Miss, you only start with like 4,000, and it builds up over time as you go. So it'll be a very, very fun thing. Me and my friends, we're doing it.
So like the better you play, the more NIL you get?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's nice.
And you can like go after and 5-star as Southern Miss or Rice or whoever. It might cost you all of your NIL. You need to spend your NIL money on health, like baths and stuff, like ice baths and stuff like that.
Bathing, hygiene.
Exactly. Yeah.
You gotta waste your money on hygiene.
For the program, the facilities,
Yes.
That's what I was talking about.
How much does the snow room cost that TCU's got?
Don't worry about it.
Seems like a waste of NIL.
It's going to be interesting, though. It's going to change this year's game completely.
I'm looking forward to it. Final hour will come back.
Hey, it's Ben and
1 o'clock hour. We have tickets to give away this hour to opening day at the racetrack. We'll tell you how you can win, but
racetrack?
Not that type of races.
Oh, rats.
These ones have thinking. These ones have a brain. They're
yeah,
horses.
no, it's definitely not the racetrack I'm thinking of.
We will tell you how you can win tickets to the party at opening day at Del Mar on Friday, July 17th. Tickets include opening day admission and exclusive access to the party, complete with world-class DJs, craft beers and cocktail bars, photo booths, and private wagering. Tickets at dmtc.com. This event is 21 and up only. We will tell you how you can win those tickets later on this hour.
Just saw tomorrow's going to be rough.
Why?
Tomorrow's C.J. Abrams Day.
Oh, boy. You know, Padres could trade for C.J. Abrams.
We missed Reese Kinnear Day. We missed Nabil Crismat Day. We missed Robert Suarez Day. Happy Johnny Brito Day, by the way.
Yeah, he might be coming up soon. You never know. But
yeah, tomorrow's going to be a little rough. Tomorrow's C.J. Abrams Day.
What's he doing? Did he make the All-Star team again?
I do not know. Not my week to watch him. We only have 2 special days coming up in August.
Not a lot of 80s?
Nope. And then 4 in September.
C.J. Abrams, was he an All-Star? I don't know. 2.6 WAR this year. 87 games. 269 average. 846 OPS. 133 OPS plus. Solid player. All right, let's get back to this. As we are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. Team USA is playing in Seattle. That's where they're playing today. Stay on the West Coast.
Are they now?
Are they in Seattle? I don't know. That's where they're at. Is that where they're playing today?
I guess so.
Why else would they be? Right. Yeah, I guess they are playing in. I don't know. Alexi Lalas is on my television and he's in Seattle.
They are playing in Seattle, yes. France, Morocco will be in Boston. This next game here, Portugal, Spain,
they're in Dallas.
US, Belgium. No, the winner of that game is going to be that's going to be in LA. That round of 8 game is going to be in LA.
Norway, England.
Miami.
And then the Argentina, Egypt, Switzerland, Colombia.
KC.
Oh, goody, goody, joy, joy. Nothing like being in Kansas City in the middle of July.
Then your semifinal games will be in Dallas for the U.S. side of the bracket and Atlanta for the England side of the bracket. Third place game is going to be in Miami, and then New York for the final.
I don't think I've ever asked you, what's your opinion on New York Stadium? Have you been there?
I've never been to New York, New Jersey Stadium.
No.
I have not.
I have for Army Navy, and they're hosting Army Navy this year.
Yes, they are. Adam?
It's kind of generic.
Yeah, I would have expected.
It's like a Costco. You know what it is? Do you remember like Madden 04 where you could like build like ownership mode? And
yep.
The stadium that you could build on that is that stadium.
Yeah. No, I believe it 100%. And Adam, I promise we will take the same. We will no connecting flights this time. I promise.
I think they have more direct flights from San Diego to New York.
Yeah, no connecting flights. I promise.
It's a Walmart. Yeah, basically what it is.
Their
press box is massive.
I believe it.
It's like 5. Like each thing is like it's huge. It's a good time.
Let me go back home for a weekend, please.
You buying the first round of Ray's Pizza?
Yes. I'll take you to some good spots.
I don't know. That's what I was told. The New Yorker, the guy that used to listen to our show back in the day, he's like, "You got to go to Ray's Pizza. You got to go to Ray's Pizza." I'm like, Ray's Pizza? It was solid. It's not bad. I mean, there's a place that my sister's like college friend owns down in like the Little Italy part that's like awesome that I've been to before.
I'll take you to some spots. If anything, I'll see if we're there long enough, I'll see if one of my family members will allow me to borrow and car And
You
we'll
don't want to
hang
take the
out.
subway?
No, we'll hang out on Long Island
Oh,
if we have
out
some extra,
there.
if we have some extra time.
You know how this works, dude. You don't have any extra time.
If we do, if there is some dead time, if there's something that we accidentally miss, we can hang out on Long Island.
I wonder if they're broadcasting from the Intrepid again. That was kind of fun. That's up your alley for sure,
Yes,
dude. They
it
got
is.
a Concorde parked outside that thing.
Yep. Yes, they do. That's, again, double drawing ability on that one. You get the double XP bonus for drawing ability.
Double drawing ability. Your train is showing again.
Triple, because I think it's by West Side Yard too.
It is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go. Triple multiplier.
Oh, goody, goody, joy, joy. Being in New York with Frank in December. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing will go wrong. I promise that.
What could possibly go wrong? Next week, be sure to tune in on Monday, July 13th at 6 p.m. as Bet365 presents Odyssey Sports Midsummer Baseball Showcase, special from Philadelphia. Oh, our segment that we planned months ago, we can actually do next week.
Yes. Yes, we can.
It's going to work well with the mascot mashup
It is.
being out and about.
Yes, it
we
is.
planned this perfectly. This is great. Because by that time, you'll have NCAA 27. I would
See,
imagine.
we could do. Oh yeah, no, I've already pre-ordered it. We could do that for all the major sports. We can have a different draft every single day with all the sports mascots. How good is that?
Gotta love All-Star Break. Gotta love All-Star Break.
I'm more
shows.
excited for next week now. Let's go.
You know, our guy Nicky P in the YouTube chat usually.
Mm-hmm.
He snagged me. I owe him some money for it, but he snagged me a copy of Phil Steele's book when he went out. He got it like the day of.
Okay.
I can't wait to get locked in on college football. We'll have some great previews, breaking down what Phil Steele has to say. The only thing I think about, like, have you read Phil Steele's magazine?
No.
Because I saw like Go Aztecs in the Twitch chat was talking about how he used to like put the rosters in via Phil Steele. I like Phil Steele. I think he knows his stuff. I like his magazine. If I didn't, I wouldn't buy it. But here's my biggest hang up with Phil Steele. You want to know? He spends like the majority of the preview for 2026, let's say, talking about how right he was about the team in 2025. That's like 75% of his preview. And then the 25% is like, it's so, I don't know how he could be so right the year before when he didn't even like predict that much in the previous year.
So
like, where did it come from?
He's a vague poster. Got it.
Yeah, it's a lot of, it's a lot of that.
This guy's going to be really good. Cool. What's he going to do?
When I opened up, I was like looking for his projected win-loss and like what can happen. And it's like breakdown of the position. Well, you know, last year I was right that the linebackers here at San Diego State were going to be, a C grade. And, usually when that's like nothing about like the current team, it was all about how well he did the year before. And I was like, I'm reading it going, where's the new... we get it, dude. Like you're in on, what's going on in college football. You're really good at predicting, your reports are great. The little algorithm you put in to determine who's going to be good and who's not. But until you don't say it ever.
Brother, the people that are buying this have bought it for the last 20 years. They know how good you are. That's why they keep buying it. Please stop and tell me what I'm supposed to expect next year. Thank you very much.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly how I feel reading like the Phil Steele book. It's just, okay, I got it. You were very right last year. Very right last year. Very right last year. Okay.
We're hooked. We get it.
Yeah, we bought it. We know what you're talking about. You've been doing this for like however many years it's been.
Dinosaurs roam the earth while you were doing this. Please, we get it. Just get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us how right you're going to be this year. And what specifically you're going to be right about.
Can TCU play for a Big 12 championship, yes or no? Well, last time they made it, I said they were going to make it. That doesn't really answer my question.
Cool,
man.
What about this year?
What about this year? And they could. They also couldn't. Thanks.
They might. They also might not.
I'm telling you, dude, you got to
Cover the bases.
When I get that book from Nikki P this week, I will show it to you, and you can read up on whatever team you want. It doesn't matter. The whole time you're going to be like, all right, well, he was really good at predicting what this team was going to do last year. That's about it. Anyway, all right, let's get back to Padres baseball, because I have to, again, people were freaking out in the YouTube chat again. I looked at Twitter, like Adam must have posted one of our segments and tagged us in it, because I had like 100 notifications on the deal. And it's like, I don't know how many people actually watched it.
I noticed how he tagged you in it, not the show account.
That's fine.
By the way, that we're trying to grow,
I think a lot of people are agreeing. So we talked about this in the first hour for the Padres, because right now things are not great. I think we can all agree on that. And somebody in the YouTube chat didn't listen to anything we said in the first hour based on their comment. We like to say thanks for listening at that point. Do you know I dropped that on my friends when they repeat something that we've already said in the chat? Like, if you send something in my group texts and somebody had already sent that before, you're going to get an immediate thanks for listening.
Brother, with friends like you.
I'm just saying, dude. Yeah. Somebody else you got to give the original poster some credit, right? Isn't that annoying?
Yes, it is.
Frank went out and posted something cool in his friends group chat. Nobody responded to it. 4 hours go by, somebody else does it, reacts, oh, it's great. That's you got to drop the thanks for listening.
No, I give a completely different response that I cannot say on here.
You could do that after the thanks for listening. Or you could say thanks for listening blank. Insert your favorite word here. That's derogatory. Thanks for listening, bleep.
Yeah.
So anyway, nobody ever listens, of course. We talked about a couple of things with this Padres team first of all, this week is incredibly important for this team. As they said on the morning show, and to which Woods responded with, isn't that every week? Well, right now it kind of is. It's kind of like every week right now has been very important for this Padres team. I think today's conversation would have been a lot different if they held on to Thursday, Friday. But that's another big what if. But as this team is right now, I don't think they have the means to sell, because I don't think selling is going to improve this team long term, because the thing that's holding them back long term are the big contracts, right, Frank? Those don't go away. And if you're able to get rid of some of them, you're going to have to give up your top prospects, which is essentially like buying anyway. And you would still have to pay off most of the contracts anyway. So you're still going to have a high payroll. You're just going to have nobody on the team. So that's not realistic, nor does it make sense. When you make a sale, when you sell at the deadline, when you make a sale of, these players, you are usually selling players that are on expiring contracts, guys that are impending free agents. They're about to be a free agent. You want to get something out of them before they leave, because you're not going to re-sign them. And the Padres have a handful of those guys, but none of them are going to net you a top 10 prospect or a top 5 prospect. They'll give you like a guy or two, like you could maybe like roll the dice on, maybe a role player, future role player, if you will. But you're looking at guys like Miguel Andujar, Lucas Giolito, Griffin Canning, Armand Marquez, Walker Buehler, Ty France, Kyle Hart, Ramon Laureano. Those are the players you're looking at that fit that mold. You're looking at a Jason Adam. You're looking at an Adrian Morejon. The problem with some of those guys, one, they're hurt, and they're going to be missing a significant amount of time, so you could rule them out. Adrian Morejon's a relief pitcher. He doesn't even pitch all the time. He's not even having a good year. I know teams are desperate for pitching. He's not going to get you a top 10 prospect. And you're looking for top 10 prospects because you're looking for guys that can be stars, right? You're not looking for just like average players. You have a lot of those. You have some average players. That's not the problem. The next thing you look at are guys that are playing above their value. That's like Wandy Peralta right now. Goes back to Ty France too, but he already checks the box for an impending free agent. Maybe you can flip a Wandy Peralta for some help. It's not going to get you anything that you're expecting. Then you look at what your big trade pieces could be. Guys that are controllable, guys that are young, guys that are exceptionally good at their craft. The only one that fits really that description is Mason Miller. The other two young guys, Fernando and Jackson Merrill. I can't remember if Jackson Merrill's got a no trade clause or not, but Fernando does. But Jackson Merrill's not playing to a high level. He's also only 23. There's no reason to give up on him. I also wouldn't give up on Fernando at this point. There's no reason to trade those two, which leaves you back to Mason Miller. And that's what the big question was today as we talked about it earlier on the show. And we'll continue to talk about it. I don't think you're going to net what a lot of people just throw out there as players you're going to net. Now, to me, the only way it makes sense for the Padres to trade away Mason Miller would be if you got the haul that the Nationals got for the Padres, or the Nationals got from the Padres for Juan Soto. But even then, Frank, we talked about it. 3 of those 5 players aren't panning out. Mackenzie Gore is not the starter of the future that they clamored him to be. Top of the rotation guy, ace level stuff, lefty. That was the guy. That was the guy. He hasn't been anything close to that guy. Harleen Susana has not even yet been to the big leagues. Robert Hassel III just got DFA'd. So 3 of the 5 didn't work. So if you get that same haul of 4 of the top 5 prospects for the Padres and the number 19th prospect, that's what they got sent for Juan Soto. If you get that package back, there's no guarantee that those guys are all going to pan out. They got 2 guys that worked out. So if you wanted to make the trade with the Yankees, we talked about that. I threw out the list of players you could potentially get. They all have to be AAA at least. I mean, that's the only members of your farm system that's the only trade you could get that's going to help this team win in the next couple of years. Frank, there's no guarantee that they even pan out. Even if you just get 2 guys back, it might be better off just having Mason Miller because you know what you're going to get with him. Mm-hmm. And he's readily available at the major league level. I don't think, and it's not going to be enough to fix this team for the next couple of years. It's not going to be enough. So at that point, I'd rather just keep the guy.
Yeah, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And by the way, Jackson has a limited no trade clause.
So it's basically like the same thing.
Yeah. So, no, trading Mason Miller to me makes absolutely no sense unless you are doing a full-on rebuild. Unless you're doing what the A's did, which is, he's not in our window. You're doing a full rebuild, but you can't do that with this team. Not because you don't want to, but because you can't. You cannot. You cannot get someone to pay Manny Machado's $40 million salary every year for the next 6 years. You can't get someone to pay Bogarts' contract or Fernando's contract or Jackson Merrill's contract. Merrill's might be a little bit easier, but over that length of time. So if you can't just completely strip everything down to the bare nuts and bolts, become the Blue Padres again for a couple of seasons, and then try to start and rebuild this thing from the ground up and do it all over again, then no, it makes no sense to trade Mason Miller at all at this stage. Makes no sense.
Dennis Lynn had some interesting comments about that earlier on the morning show. We'll get to that when we come back. We'll continue this conversation and get you ready for Padres and Diamondbacks. Pivotal 4 games for the Pods starting tonight at Petco Park. We'll get to that when we come back. 125 on a Monday. Hopefully the Padres can turn things around starting yesterday. I will say this. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant, the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting us number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live on YouTube every day, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. We are going to be giving away tickets to opening day at the track going into break.
Racetrack?
The one with the ponies. The horses?
Okay.
You're Italian. You should be good at like betting those. Are all Italians good at like betting horses? Like, doesn't everybody have an uncle or a cousin or something like that knows which horses to bet on? I know I do.
No, we've never been
good at the track.
We've never been too big into the ponies.
That's right. The Italians never loved the horse races, huh? Impending person being insulted in the YouTube chat. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's get to what I want to get to is the conversation about Mason Miller again. And stay tuned as we go to break. We'll give away those tickets. Dennis Lynn was on with Ben and Woods earlier this morning talking about a lot today. And it was interesting what he said about Mason Miller. And I thought Woods had to ask this question because I think when you start to play process of elimination, in order to get what you want to get at the deadline in a seller mode, right, to revamp the farm system and invest in good prospects, the only one that's going to net you anything close to that is a guy like Mason Miller. What has Dennis Lynn heard about Mason Miller?
What about Mason? What's your read on it?
I think that decision would have to come down to the very end, but I think all things considered, they'd hate to trade him.
Sure.
So my guess is he'll still be a Padre after the deadline. I mean, he has a lot of years of control, so if things go south, you could try to trade him in the offseason too. But I think just moving a guy of that caliber is really tough unless you're the guy from the other side, AJ Preller, trading for him. Last year. And a lot of teams, if you ask GMs, just don't want to give up great prospects unless, I guess, you're AJ Preller again last year. So my feeling is he'll be here after the deadline unless they totally just tank in the standings the next few weeks. But it's hard to see a guy who's maybe the best closer in the game, not be used very often. So I understand why you're asking the question.
No doubt.
Definitely understand why. But at the same time, I mean, you could take a lot out of what Dennis Lynn said, Frank. I mean, the person that would be the most interested in giving up a lot of top prospects for a closer of Mason Miller's caliber is one guy. And he's the one that would potentially be dangling the carrot in AJ Preller.
Yep. That really is it. And we've heard the conversations from the A's as well, saying that we had no interest in trading him until someone came knocking. That was it. And so I don't see, I do not see a world into a commenter said, yeah, and here it is again, 100%, unless you can get out of one of those nasty contracts, aka Manny's contract, then he has to stay. No, you're not getting out from under that contract.
I think that shows that the first time I read that, Frank, I agree with you. I think SD local or whatever his name is. I think he's honestly making the point, like, unless it's something so ridiculous of it gets you out of the contract, he has to stay. Which I kind of agree with. If somebody called you, Frank, and said, hey, we want Mason Miller, we will take all of Manny Machado's contract, you would have to say yes.
Yeah, in that case, then yes. In that case, fine. But if for those of you thinking the other way of you trade him to get out of one of those contracts, no, you can't. If you want a team, you're trading at that point, you're trading Mason Miller, Manny, Xander, throw in whoever, plus Salas, plus Schoolcraft, plus whoever, just for them to eat up the entirety of Manny's contract. And the return is not going to be worth it. You're going to get some schlub who's barely ever going to play a game above AA just to be able to get out from under that contract and eat the entirety of the contract to the point is like, okay, why did we make that trade in the first place?
Because we were emotionally upset that the team lost 8 games and lost 23-3. But you can't have your front office making emotional decisions. you'll never be good. And we talked about that earlier today. You can't just like hit the reset button that a lot of, people want to do all the time. With the instant gratification of life that we have right now, it's just like, oh, let's just hit reset. It's great. Let's just make it great. It's not possible. This is what you signed up for when you made these decisions. You signed up for this, and there was no exit plan. There was no off ramp to if it doesn't work out, like let's just do this. They took a big risk, and it got into 3 playoff appearances out of 4 years. And right now, it's one of the down years. That's part of doing business like this. But you're not going to be able to get your way out of these problems. The only way that you would do that, you would still have to take on money. Then you arguably could have the worst roster in baseball next year, but it would still cost a ton because you're paying most of the money for teams to play against you. Like we had Kevin and Chula Vista mentioned, like the St. Louis Cardinals turn things around. The St. Louis Cardinals are spending 42% of their payroll on 2 players that aren't on the team anymore. They were willing to do that. Their team could probably be a lot better if they could use that money to buy other players. But you know what? It's invested there. I mean, you could take that risk and try to go invest in a lot of young players and hope they all turn into good players. But it's not a guarantee. Like Frank said, the devil you know is a lot better than the devil you don't. And where they're at right now, like we said before, there are no easy solutions to this problem at the trade deadline. You are not going to be able to buy yourself a World Series roster at the trade deadline. There's way too many holes. You're going to need a lot of guys in your organization right now to step the bleep up and play a lot better than they've been playing. And you need pitchers to do that. I mean, Dennis talked about it earlier on the show today. On Ben and Woods early on the morning show, you need like 3 starting pitchers. Where are they going to get 3 starting pitchers, Frank? Where are they going to get them?
Free agency.
At the trade deadline, where are they going to get the 3 starting pitchers?
Oh, I mean,
you're not going to be able to find that. You're going to find some like guys like Walker Buehler laying around that are on, having decent years on bad teams, and then that you got to outbid the teams that also need starting pitching, which is every one of them.
I put down for like guys in the starting rotation. Again, this was before disaster week. Sonny Gray could have been an option. Jack Flaherty could have been an option. Lance McCullers is on a rehab assignment right now, could have been an option. Dustin May, Sandy Alcantara, Joe Ryan, and Chris Bubick, who's on a
rehab assignment.
Yeah, rehab assignment. Those are all guys that would be up and available for trading. All those guys. Sonny Gray is a $30 million mutual option. That ain't getting picked up. Dustin May is a $20 million mutual option. That ain't getting picked up. Sandy Alcantara's got a $21 million club option. That ain't getting picked up. And everyone else is just a straight free agent after the season. So those were options that you could have looked towards now, unless the Padres go from going 1-6 last week to going 6-1 this week. I don't see any of those guys being options that you can look at for this team.
I think right now they're in the, if they do something, it's a minor ad point.
Yes.
I don't think, because there's no such thing as a minor sell. It'd be like a G-Man Choi situation. And Adam Frazier situation, right? Like, it's a little trade here, maybe a little spark, maybe it works out. Those trade deadlines have never been good to AJ. Those specific ones. Those are the 2 years they didn't make the playoffs, right? 2023 and 2021. I mean, those are the years that like it didn't work. There's no exit strategy to this. There's really not. I mean, they need 3 starting pitchers. They need a left-handed hitting corner outfielder potentially / maybe first baseman. Their second base situation is interesting to say the least, with Fernando being able to play there, but where are you going to play Jake Cronenworth? I mean, a lot of the things that they need to go right involve their team playing better. It's the fact of the matter. And like we talked about earlier in the show, when you go into the season with World Series aspirations, right? And you think that you're going to be, you're trying to compete for a World Series because you made the playoffs your last 4 years, and that's what you tell everybody, and you have the performance that they had last week, it's not only flat out unacceptable, it's embarrassing. I mean, their play on the road was embarrassing. At least they won the last game in LA, and I know that if they would have won the 2 games that they had leads in before they made mistakes, and like we've talked about so many times, the Dodgers always take advantage of mistakes. Padres made them. Blew a 6-0 lead, blew a 3-0 lead. We'd be having a lot different of a conversation on Monday. But they didn't. They won one of the games in LA.
Somebody in the chat keeps bringing up Seth Lugo. He's 3-6 with a 4.20 ERA, 76 strikeouts this year.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if he would have been helping you if you signed him to an extension for you, let him walk. But there's 2 things that could have happened if that was the case, Frank. If they would have won Thursday, if they flip Thursday and Friday and actually hang on to those games and they take 3 out of 4 from the Dodgers, 2 things happen. 1, they're in a lot better position standings-wise. And number 2, guess what their record is against LA on the season?
Even?
5-5. They'd be 5-5 against the Dodgers. And that's what makes it frustrating. They're right there competing with all of them all the time. And you've seen the highlights. But they need to have a pretty impressive 7 games here before the All-Star break. When we come back, we'll talk about it. Starts tonight against the Diamondbacks. This is a very pivotal week for the San Diego Padres. I'll finish up our show. All right, I forgot to do it when we went to break. I wanted to, and then right before I was like, "Oh, nope, we got to give away tickets to opening day at the Del Mar racetrack." We got a pair of tickets to the party at opening day at Del Mar on Friday, July 17th. Tickets include opening day admission and exclusive access to the party, complete with world-class DJs, craft beers, and cocktail bars, photo booths, and private wagering. Tickets at dmtc.com. This event is 21 plus. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you are the fifth caller, you will win today's tickets. Be the fifth caller, and you will win tickets to Del Mar opening day at the racetrack, where the surf meets the turf at Del Mar. You ever been to the Del Mar races?
I've not been to the races, no.
It's pretty fun. I don't mind going to the races. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Be the fifth caller. You will win tickets to opening day at the Del Mar racetrack. Frank's working on that right now. Let's talk about the Padres in this pivotal week. It's a very important week for them to try to have any type of semblance into making the postseason with their odds stacked against them right now. They have to have a great week. And I mean a great week. They got 7 games left before the All-Star break. They're all at home, and 4 of them are against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are they're tied with in the National League wildcard standings and in the National League West. Not that that really matters right now. They're both 4 games out of a wildcard spot. The Diamondbacks and the Padres are. The Padres, to me, have to win 3 out of 4 against Arizona and have to at least take 2 out of 3 from Toronto. That would give them a 5-2 homestand. A 5-2 homestand would put them in a little bit better of a situation. They'd be 49-47. They'd be 2 games above 500. Seeing how the rest of the National League wild card plays out, that puts them in a lot better spot. Obviously, anything better than that would be great. But right now, a 5-2 homestand minimum if they want to get back on track. Now, as much as everybody thinks, and we've talked about this a lot today, and I'm trying to play out why it would make any sense to be like these massive sellers at the deadline. I don't even think a lot of people believe it. I think they're just like spewing that because of how emotionally terrible last week was, and they're just upset. But when you try to start using the logic, Frank, of selling at the deadline, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But to ask you this question, I just talked about it. They got 4 against Arizona and 3 against the Blue Jays. They got 7 games here before the All-Star break. What do they have to do at minimum to stay in this thing? I said 4-2. Minimum.
That's
5-2. You got to go 5-2.
Yeah, 5-2, 6-1, 7-0. That's what you have to do. You're at a point right now in the season where just being a game over 500 in a series doesn't help you. It's fine if you're in the American League, but you're not right now. You need to be exceptional. You cannot just be average or just a game over average right now. You have to be exceptional in order for the front office to not be like, maybe this is not really a punt year, but this is kind of just a regroup and figure things out and start looking towards next year kind of deal. You have to be exceptional. You have to be extraordinary. You cannot be ordinary this week.
No, you have to take care of business. I mean, if they won all 7 games at home, they'd be on an 8-game winning streak. It would tie for their longest of the year. That would really separate yourself here. But as we look at today, July 6th, we could go back to July 7th of last year at this time and look where the wild card standings were. The Padres were a game out, but they were 6 games above 500. The Diamondbacks are exactly where they were last year as they were right now, 4.5 games back, 45-46. I don't remember them making the playoffs last year. Now, Cincinnati made the playoffs, did they not?
They did.
They were 46 and 45 at this point last year and 3.5 games back of a wild card spot.
They also had a very hot September too. That's
what teams do when they get into the playoffs, though. They have hot September.
Them and Miami had hot Septembers, also helped by the fact the Mets became the worst team in baseball.
What about the Giants? The Giants were in a wild card spot at this time last year. They were 50 and 42. Yeah.
Wow.
On July,
I don't remember that at all.
Correct. On July 7th last year, the Giants were 50 and 42. 8 games above 500 and a game in front of the Padres for the final wild card spot. And they won the trade deadline. So if you look at the standings right now, I mean, there's some teams like that right now. I mean, I think a lot of people just assume that those guys, the teams were going to stay there the whole time. But who made the playoffs last year? That's a trivia question for it. Dodgers made it, right? Cubs made it. We knew that. Philadelphia made it.
Dodgers, Cubs, Brewers, Phillies,
Padres,
Reds.
So as of right now, if you go back a year ago today, where they're at in the season, roughly, 2 of the teams that are not in the wild card last year at this time made the wild card. I can't believe the Mets fell apart like that. 52 and 30. They were 52 and 39 and had a 2.5 game lead and a 3.5 game lead over the Padres, the final wild card spot. They collapsed. Giants collapsed. Padres and Reds got on heaters. Cubs were leading the division in the National League Central, and the Brewers passed them. So there's a lot to be said about that. In the American League, remember Detroit had a huge lead, and then they lost the division to Cleveland. Who made the playoffs last in the American League? Blue Jays, Detroit, right? Yankees made it? The Red Sox made the playoffs, didn't they? Weren't they just outside of it? I can never remember off the top of my head.
I'm not going to attempt to remember. Hold on. Toronto, yes. Toronto, New York, Boston, Cleveland, Detroit, Seattle.
So Tampa didn't make it.
No.
So they fell out.
Tampa finished at 77 and 85 last year.
Everybody else is relative. No, Cleveland made it, though. And Cleveland, how about this? Now, this is a lot different than the American League. Do you know what Cleveland won the division last year, didn't they?
-6 run differential. Is that where you're going with this?
No.
Oh.
Do you know where the Cleveland Guardians were last year at this time?
Oh, God, they were awful. Because Ramirez was hurt for a while, wasn't he? 'Cause they dug themselves into a deep hole with injuries.
You want to know where the Guardians were at? They were the 4th worst team in the American League. At this point last year, they were 41 and 48. They were 7 games under 500, 6.5 games out of a wild card spot, and their run differential
-6.
At
that time?
At that time. -57. Now, Cleveland's always had usually good pitching and whatnot. Maybe that's the comparison I got to make, because I compared the Padres to last year and the year before. But to say it's impossible, it would be a reach. I mean, you do need some things that break your way, but
highly unlikely.
If you look at the standings right now for Major League Baseball, and you look where the Padres are actually, and I'm not trying to paint sunshine and rainbows because it's not great. They have slim chances at this point. But last year, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to go to last year to see where the standings are. The Guardians last year at this time had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in front of them. There were 6.5 games out of a wild card spot. There were 7 games under 500. They had just completed losing 9 of 10 games at that point. They just won a game, just like the Padres, and there are 57 games, or 57 run minus on the run differential, -57. Padres right now are 1 game under. They got 4 teams in front of them, 4 games back. They just completed a 8-game losing streak that puts them at 2-8 in the last 10, and the run differential is -42. It's pretty similar. Individual stat-wise, I'll look at that tonight, and I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. But it's not impossible Okay, like the Cardinals have started to come back down to earth as we thought they would. They're now tied with the Marlins for the final wild card spot. They're 7 games above 500 though, and they have a 4-game lead on the Padres. I don't necessarily think the way that these couple of these teams in the wild card are playing that's a foregone conclusion they're going to be in there. I also don't think that Atlanta's running away with the division in the National League East either, Frank.
No, that's completely changed. The Phillies have bounced right on back into that.
I tell you what, the Phillies, they're 3 games back from Atlanta. They catch Atlanta, that throws a little bit different wrinkle into this wild card. But all starts tonight. Got to win today's game. Try to get to 2 games in a row. If they win another one after that, it's called a winning streak. Haven't had too many of those in recent memory. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.